Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to VidaneTV. The Oil Boys Late Model I National Series kicking things off. You can already see green flag in the air for heat race number one. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. and Bizzle in the broadcast booth. How we doing tonight, Biz?
I'm doing all right. Got off from work, came home, relaxed a little bit, drinking God's gift for giving us free will, some of the greatest beer of all time out of Kilkenny, Ireland. And I've ready to watch some race cars go around the wonderful Five Flag Speedway.
Yeah, they just had a big race here at the real or Five Flag Speedway, didn't they?
Yeah, it was some kind of thing. Usually there's a whole bunch of drama around it. I don't pay attention, but I did watch every single lap of it like I do every year.
Indeed, putting on a little bit of a show there, a little bit of drama at the end of it, but all is well in the world of racing. Quick caution here in the first couple of laps as we get on into it. And it's going to slow things down here for us. Same deal as last week. Going to run three heat races, take the top five from each, and then we're going to run that last chance qualifier and find out who is going to be running in tonight's feature event. 200 laps here at Five Flags Speedway, and it's the second of the three triple crown races here in the Oil Boys Late Model National Series, and we'll take a look at those point standings later on once we get the field set for the 200 lapper here this evening. And lots of racing on the go here this week. Tomorrow night doing a little double header action. Bizzle, you're actually going to take the keys to the castle doing Tim's Corner Motorsports Smash Potatoes, first race of the fun holiday season for those guys. And then right after that, the NEP Truck Series, Super Truck Series, going to be taking over. And then Thursday night, the NEP Super Trucks having another race as well. They're running two races this week because half of the field, they were out at PRI last week out in Indiana, and that's actually where I'm flying out to tomorrow. A little Rumble in Fort Wayne action. So that'll be, I don't know if fun is the right word, but it's definitely going to be an adventure.
Yeah, the Rumble is one I've always wanted to get to. I'm a huge fan of indoor racing. Back when I was living on the East Coast, I made it a big deal to always go out to Allentown, watch the three-quarter midgets and all of the other shenanigans they got going on the hockey rink down there. And something about indoor racing, getting together in the wintertime when none of the big tracks are running and packing yourself into a stadium to watch some basically, cage fighting going on. It's pretty awesome.
Steel cage racing, as they call it at Stafford Motor Speedway. They've been calling it that for quite some time, as I recall, and that's always fun to watch. Green flag flying once again. The 21 car going to get a little bit of a shot there. Going to move out and close up. It's Kason Hodgson joining the field in the first heat race here. He's got himself an 8-9 car length lead here with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, it's really his show right now. No one really picking up the slack, closing that distance. Really, it's a battle for second here. And if you could refresh my memory, how many cars are going to transfer into the feature in these heat races?
Taking the top five from the heat races, and I believe we're taking another 5 or 6 from the last chance qualifying race here. We change it up, it seems like, every Tuesday just to make sure that everybody stays on their toes. And no difference here this week with 8 laps to go. Hodgson has himself a pretty solid lead in that 21 car.
Yeah, I would imagine, too, with all the short tracks being so different and the size of them is immense between the smallest on one end and some of the bigger ones like Pensacola here on the larger end. You could fit a lot more cars here. So I feel like that's why they change it up. We want to give more guys a shot to come out here and race in the big show. But if you go to some of the smaller tracks, I don't know if we've run Oxford yet, but obviously you can't run a 40-car grid at Oxford. You can try, but it's not going to put on a good show.
We've run a couple of smashed potatoes races at Oxford and Tim's Corner Motorsports in the past. Those were always fun because we grabbed Miatas and a couple of different cars that iRacing has to offer and just kind of race them against each other for 60 minutes on the clock or however long it was.
I did a 3-hour endurance race at Oxford. Now, mind you, in iRacing, Oxford has no lights. In the real world, it does have lights, but in iRacing, it doesn't. We did it at night with the full 62-car IMSA grid. So you had multi-class action with prototypes, GT cars. That was back when the GTE cars were popular too. So we had 3 different classes on that tiny little bull ring at night. It was incredible. And the way you push and shove with the front bumpers of the cars, you got your headlights knocked out. So you were driving blind in that big old circle.
And that's exactly what it is too. It's a circle. It's very similar to Waterford Speed Bowl, where you keep turning left. Kind of similar to here. You've got a little bit of a break in the front and the back straightaway here at the virtual Five Flag Speedway, and you can see we're clicking these laps off relatively quickly. And that 21 VT car is driving away from the field here. You can see he's got himself a big lead over that second place, the 17 of Jason Gaudet Jr., Matt Huntington, rather, running in third. Makita Giroux there in fourth, and Gary Wheeler currently rounding out the top five. Cam Biotti, a little side-by-side action, it looks like, between Biotti and LaFleur back just on the outside looking in, trying to make their way to the main event of the evening here tonight. We saw some racing. We saw a yellow flag pop out there as well, and unfortunately, with all these remote shows, I keep forgetting to pull up my replay box, my little button box to push the replay button. So unfortunately, no replays here this evening. And you know what? That was actually the checkered flag. I'm a little bit silly. Here we go. Heat race number 2.
It's fun that you bring up Waterford Speed Bowl too. It reminds me, I had a buddy growing up, and he had a fake ID, and the address on his fake ID was the Waterford Speed Bowl.
That's actually pretty fantastic.
It was incredible.
Well, I guess I'll keep my story for another day because I'm not sure about the legality of it. Anywho, on track once again, heat race number 2. Quick lap times around this racetrack. Stephen Rochford going to roll off P1. Looks like he's going to start down on the bottom side. Hayden Bushi there in P2 on the outside. Brogan Roberts, Tegan Atkins in row number 2. Ryan Kuhn from our KM Setup Shop in that 72 car going to roll off P5. Jarvis Sotile, Dominic Frappier, Carter Atwood, JD Stockwell, Paxton Call, Zachary Burning Star, and Ty Delphia. Or Baumgarten. Sorry about that. Gonna have to get a bigger monitor here for this traveling system we've got here, but that's gonna be the 10 cars rounding out the field here tonight. You can see the lights are off of the iRacing pace car. We are getting ready to rock and roll once again.
Yep, pace car going to make that a hard left-hand turn there out of turn number... Well, this is turn number 2, so we still got to go around the track, but eventually he'll make it to turn number 4 and take a hard left turn in the pit lane.
And that'll give him just a little bit time, just enough time, rather, to jump on DoorDash, Vidane.tv/DoorDash, get $8 off your first 4 orders when you sign up with a new account. Let them know VidaneTV saw them. Let them know that we are racing here on iRacing as well. And we are live all over the place on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, all over the place. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. And let the world know that VidaneTV is live. Green flag out here as we complete lap number 1. Stephen Rochford going to hold on to that lead in the 66 car, but Bushi going to take a look on the outside in the 15.
Yeah, just real quick, to all of our viewers watching not on the YouTube platform, unfortunately, the Midwest headquarters of VidaneTV does not have the ability to broadcast to anyone and everyone. We can only go to YouTube out here, so for tomorrow's shows, be sure to tune in on the YouTube platform. This way you won't miss a minute of the action.
And we'll be linked up, ready to rock and roll over on the Facebook as well. You'll be able to find that out. Or you can shoot on over to the website, Vidane.tv/live, and click on the YouTube logo. That'll take you right on over there. And we've got 650 plus. That's right, 650 live broadcasts over on the YouTube page, and we've been doing it for 5 years. And man, the amount of emails and phone calls and text messages I had today, I know I've been saying it. I know I sound like a broken record, but man, oh man, 2026 is going to be off the chain. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a year of expansion here at VidaneTV, and I myself am very, very excited. It was just last night. I was laying in bed. I couldn't sleep, and I was just kind of sifting through some of the old Vidane racing videos from back in the day. And I saw a video put together by Ian Plash 8 years ago talking about the previous 12 years in Vidane racing. We used to run a super speedway series under the Vidane banner, and we'd have over 100 guys showing up for those 43 spots each and every week. And I sat down and I watched the video 2 or 3 times, and I looked at the dates, and I had to do the math in my head. But the Vidane brand is turning 20 years old in 2026. So we've got something special on the go. Be sure to look out for the announcement video I think we're going to drop it on Christmas Day. Give everybody a little bit something extra there under the tree. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. Be sure to be following along with all the social media outlets to get that news there. 5 laps to go here in heat race number 2. Check that, 4 laps to go that time by Rochford. Still holding on to the lead in the 66 car. Looks like Bushy's going to back up just a little bit as you can see that 66 coming up on some lap traffic, it looks like. Nope, my timing and scoring is in the wrong order. Boop. There we go. Tegan Atkins holding on to the lead. Ryan Kuhn is in second. Rochford is in third. So we did have an update with our timing and scoring. It looks like it's working correctly. I just pushed the wrong button there.
Yeah, that'll happen to you, but that's what happens when we're doing it live.
Indeed, you can see the ticker is working and accurate up top. So shout out to ATVO for getting that taken care of. And looks like things are running relatively smoother here. I just got to pay more attention, it seems like. But there you go, side by side, Ryan Kuhn in that 72 car, very, very quick. We talk about him. Cool, a little bit of contact up in the front. They hold on to it, though. Popsicle sticks, 2 laps to go. White flag, rather. Final lap around this one. Tegan Atkins on the outside trying to make it happen.
God, one thing I love about Five Flags, how these guys can battle side by side like this. No one giving up an inch. They make contact once again at a turn 4. It's a drag race. That's going to be the 88 across the line first. Tegan Atkins.
How about that? That 88 car very quick, and that 72 from RKM Setup Shop quick as well. Steve Rochford, Hayden Bushy, and Dominic Frappier are going to round out the top 5. They're making a big show here this evening, and everybody else, they're going to have to race in through the LCQ race. We are clicking these off relatively quickly. It looks like I'm going to be able to jump back in to the TCM, the Tim's Corner Motorsports Super Happy Christmas Fun Time Extravaganza, or whatever the heck the name is, over on Tim's Corner Motorsports. Had to drop in, say hi to the guys over and up in Canada. Tim's here his birthday there in a couple of days too, so had to deliver a couple of messages there. Heat race number 3 getting lined up, and it looks a little something like this. Kenny Thompson in the 39 car. He's been quick all season long, as has Luke Shannon. They're going to make up row number 1. Riley McVetti in the 25, and Kyle Goodbout going to be row number 2. Mike Macasill and Layden O'Donnell going to be in 5th and 6th. Ashton Kennison, Tom Harwood, Tyson Shannon, Jake Grout, Justin Prescott, and Jacob Roy rounding out the field for this particular race. And once again, taking 5, sending everybody else to the LCQ. And we're lined up 2 by 2. And I was looking at the lap times here, Bizzle. These guys are racking them off relatively quickly. And this is one of those racetracks we made mention. They had that great big event here at the Real Five Flags just a couple of weeks ago. So there are a lot of laps turned here at this race. And I got to wonder if that's something that the race control and everybody here with the Oil Boys Late Model National Series, they probably wanted to make sure that one of the crown jewel events is a track that all these drivers, most of these drivers anyway, have a lot of laps at.
Yeah, and it's hard not to. If you're a fan of the late models, you're a fan of super late models, even if you're a fan of modifieds, this is one of those tracks that you're going to have ticked a ton of laps off at. It's the, I want to say, the premier short track in the South region, the Gulf region of the United States of America. You don't have another option if you want a short track on this scale.
Let me drop a little trivia question on it, and I think you might even work the show that I learned it at. But do you know why it's called Five Flag Speedway?
I do not.
The land that the racetrack was on, in its history, has been controlled by 5 different countries. So it's technically been under 5 different flags.
That would make a lot of sense. And they're wrecking back in the pack.
Caution flag going to fly here in the 3rd heat race. There you see the 3 car pointing in the wrong direction. The 66 giving them a little bit of a fist bump there with the hood, and it looks like they're going to grab a gear, get going once again. And it's going to be tough to kind of make your way through. We've got short heat races here, 12 laps rather, on the docket for these heat races. So it's a long way to go and a short time to get there if these guys are going to try and race their way in to the main event here through these heat races.
Yeah, so doing a little fact check in there, not that I didn't believe you, but I was curious who has had control of Pensacola, Florida. Spanish Empire had it from 1559 to 1719, and then they took it back from 1722 to 1763, and then again from 1781 to 1821. So the Spanish really wanted this little piece of land French Empire had it from 1719 to 1722. British Empire from 63 to 81, and then the United States from 1821 to 1861, before briefly being under the control of the Confederate States of America, before the Union reunited again, and now it's back under that third flag or fourth flag. So a little bit of history went down on this little region of what we now call the United States of America.
Everybody in the Union except for Texas, they never actually officially seceded. So they're kind of technically on paper their own country, but we don't want to talk about that.
Well, it's Texas. Were they ever really integrated? I mean, Texas is as American as you can get, but it's also like very foreign. They're all proud to be from Texas. They're not. They don't say I'm from America. They say I'm from Texas down there.
That they do, and they've got a little bit of a, I don't want to say a tough accent to understand, but it is a little bit more difficult to understand.
I think it's region based down in Texas. DFW is not a hard one to understand.
You know, that's actually very true, because Texas is big. There's a lot of land and a lot of people down in Texas. Green flag flying once again. Kenny Thompson getting the jump. Ryan Kuhn, or check that. Luke Shannon in the 13 car. I'm reading 16 different things here at once. They have gotten themselves single file. Now back through the fourth position. A little side-by-side action from fifth and sixth on back.
Single file for all your transfer spots, though. Everyone else is fighting behind, and that's exactly what they don't want to do if they want to make it up through this field and transfer into this race.
Quick time there by Luke Shannon, a 16.969. Nice lap time. Quickest only driver in this heat race to break in to the 16. Oh, just as I say that, we get another new quick time. An 8.71 there from Kenny Thompson in the 39. How about that? A 7.72 from Gary Wheeler in the 92. So once these tires get a little heat in them, the racetrack gets a little heat there as well. The lap time's going to pick up. We'll see how long the tires last. You can see they're getting spicy up in the front, almost 3 wide. They back it down to 2 for now.
They were wrecking in the back of the frame, though, towards the back of the pack.
Jake Grout, I believe, gets a piece of the action. Jacob Roy in the 11 potentially getting a little bit woed up there as well. You can see some damage in the left front of that car. He's going to bring that thing down to pit road, have the virtual crew work on that thing, bang out some of the sheet metal, and see if he can't get that car back out on track. Meanwhile, everybody's still chasing down that 39 of Kenny Thompson.
So while I'm still on the history page of the Five Flags Speedway, do you know who the first NASCAR Grand National Series winner was at the Five Flags Speedway in their inaugural year of racing?
What was the year? Give me a hint.
This track opened up in 1953.
1953, the first winner of the Grand National. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Mark Martin.
Mark Martin's old, but he ain't that old. I don't even think he was conceived yet in 1953. But the race was won by Herb Thomas driving the Hudson Hornet way back then in 1953.
Hang on, the car from Cars?
Yes.
Always cool to have a little history lesson here on VidaneTV. We looked up, so you didn't have to.
That's about the only fun fact on this page. It's a very short Wikipedia article.
We might have to get up there and make a little history ourselves. And you can see the lights are off on the iRacing pace car. We're lined up 2x2 all the way through. Kenny Thompson down on the bottom side, and that 13 of Luke Shannon up top. Both drivers been quick all season long, and they're trying to race their way into the second Triple Crown race of the season. Green flag flies once again. We're racing here with 6 laps to go.
Dennis Leslie checking in the YouTube comments saying Thompson with the Majeski jump there on the initial start of this race. We weren't going to bring it up, but I guess our audience can bring it up.
Oh man, we just got our next VidaneTV shirt. We're just going to start calling it the Majeski jump. The Majeski shuffle. How about that little dance move maybe?
Oh man, in my IndyCar world, we call them Colton Herta starts, but definitely in this late model world, I think the Majeski jump, Majeski shuffle is definitely going to be a new term.
All sorts of racing terms we've kind of coined here on VidaneTV. Over in the NAP series, had a guy last year with a relatively big name get himself Steve Parked, which was kind of neat.
That one hurts.
Well, it was just his last name, Park.
As a resident Long Islander.
I'm close to Long Island. I can almost see it. Well, not where I'm at right now, but back at the house, as they say.
Can you see it or hear it looking over the sound?
A little of both. It depends on the night. Always cool going out to Hammonasset on the 4th of July weekend just to see all the illegal fireworks on both sides of the sound, and then they shoot off the big show there from Madison, Connecticut. Kind of a neat little spot. Had a lot of time down there on the beach looking at the sound. How about a little side-by-side action for the lead as we head into 3 and 4. Good bad down on the bottom side in that 92 car. Kenny Thompson gets slid up to that middle to high groove. He's going to go up, kiss that outside wall, take the white flag, white rag, 1 lap to go here in the heat race. And these guys are going to drag race into 3 and 4 to that checkered flag.
Still side-by-side, neither car giving an inch. At a turn number 4, going to be a drag race once again. This time the inside car takes it. It's going to be Gary Wheeler in that 92 machine taking home the victory in heat race number 3.
0.010. The advantage of good bout over Thompson. Luke Shannon.
Thousandths of a second.
See, I had to do the decimal because I'm not very good with fractions.
That's not a fraction.
By definition, it's a fraction.
It's not a fraction. It's written in decimal.
10 1,000ths?
Yes.
Yeah, but you read it as a fraction.
You could say 100th, then it's not a fraction.
Well, no, then it's a percentile? No, that's not the right word.
No, it's still decimal.
more of a history buff than I am a mathematician, but I digress. We'll take a look at the starting lineup here for the LCQ. Now, mind you, this is the last chance these drivers are going to be able to race into the show tonight, and everybody else that doesn't make it, they're going to have to watch along either down in the pits, in the living room, wherever they fire up the TV, and join us here on VidaneTV. Canbiati going to run off on the pole. Philadelphia on the outside there of row number 1. Tom Hardward, Patrick Swifter going to be the row number 2. Brogan Roberts, Jake Grout rounding out the first 3 rows. Brandon Lambert, JD Stockwell, Jacob Roy, Chris Derry, and Paxton Call the top 11. Justin Prescott there in the 04 car. Brandon Meyer, Zachary Baumgarten, Landon O'Donnell, Mike Pepin, Carter Atwood, Tyson Shannon, and that's it. The 30 car being driven by Race Control, but it looks like that's just a rental car that they brought out to the virtual racetrack this evening.
It is a generic car. The back of it says Audi to me. The front of it kind of says like Dodge, but like one of the Peugeot style Dodges they sell down in Mexico. Like it's everything and nothing all at once.
It is a non-manufacturer specific pace car, which I think is actually about 95% accurate. Because I remember hearing a story 10, 15 years ago when iRacing first became a thing. They kind of took different pieces of different cars because they didn't have any kind of licensing deal for the official pace car, so they just kind of mashed it all together.
This pace car came out only a couple years ago, 2019-ish. Before that, your options for pace car was the Mustang GT3 or the Mustang GT500 Cup car, or the Rough.
The Rough?
Yes. Before they can get Porsche licensing, they used Rough, like a lot of other video game creators did, which is a German modifier of Porsche vehicles. They modify them so much that it's legally a different car, according to the German government, so they can license the Rough.
Interesting. Well, once again, we looked it up so you didn't have to. A couple of drivers getting jammed up towards the back of the pack early on in this one. As you saw there on the back side of your screen, it looks like everybody able to drive on away and rejoin the field here. So that is definitely good news. And It said all those good things about timing and scoring, and it's doing all sorts of weird stuff on me here. But I think once we cross the line, get everybody lined up, take that green flag, that'll get itself all sorted out. Still some shenanigans going on. I believe that was Meyer and Stockwell having themselves a discussion there at the exit of pit road. It looks like they did indeed grab a gear and get going once again, but it looks like there's some big damage on the 45 of Stockwell, and they're gonna try and get that thing repaired and get back out there because he's up there in the points. So if he were to miss this show and not race his way in, that would be detrimental to his point standings. Just taking a peek at it here.
We looks like we have fast repairs here tonight. Quickly jumped in the backup car there. That car repaired itself and it's on its way again.
So good news, able to get going once again. Don't believe the 45 car lost a lap, which is tough to do here at this racetrack. It looks in 38, 39 seconds to get around here under caution. So they're doing their best to get back out there. Lights still on in the pace cars. We'll take a quick peek here at the points after race number 4 at Richmond last week. Jake Grout holding on to the points lead, 192 points. Ryan Kuhn behind him. He's got 187. Tegan Atkins, Kyle Goodbout, and Luke Shannon top 5 in the points. And we've seen all 5 of those guys very, very quick here this evening. And just kind of looking down through, there's a couple of ties, adding everything together. We've had over 40 drivers start these 4 races. We've got a couple of new names here this evening as well. So big up-and-coming league here with the Oil Boys Late Model Nationals, and looking forward to getting up, I don't want to say up to the Northeast, but visiting some more of the Northeast racetracks this, next year, next race season, as that was one of the emails that I got earlier today. But keep an eye out on the social media platforms for all of the announcements coming up. Pace cars down in the pit road. We're green once again. Thundering down to turn 3 and 4. Ty Delphi going to hold on to the lead, but the 45 of Cambiani right there on his back bumper. The front 3 single file. The 29 of Hardwood going to get things sorted on out. Caution flag going to fly quickly once again for some trouble, some shenanigans in the back of the pack. But once again, it looks like everybody able to drive away from this one. And just kind of as we sift through some of these camera angles, you could see there's a lot of that rubber buildup up on the high side of the track. Now, years ago, that used to not matter in the sim racing world, in the iRacing world, but with all the technology and all the dynamic stuff that iRacing has been able to kind of program into the simulation service, that rubber buildup matters. If you get up in the marbles, it will upset the race car, and that's something a lot of these drivers are going to be keeping an eye on. Especially, we saw they want to go 2 and 3 wide here around 5 flags, so I got to keep an eye on the track, the debris up there. It's also down on the apron as well, so these drivers really going to have to kind of navigate between the navigational beacons, as it were.
Now, Paul, I don't want to date you, but have you been locked away from iRacing for the past 10 years?
Nobody wants to date me, and I don't understand why, because I look like Luke Combs and Jelly Roll, but that's another story for another night. But as far as iRacing goes, I do the TV stuff. I haven't really even hooked up the wheel in a long time. I haven't set up a server or anything like that. They are going 3 wide back there in the second half of the top 5.
Because this January update actually marks the 10-year anniversary of having dynamic tracks and rubber buildup and all of the other goodies here on the iRacing platform. It's been 10 years we've had this, and it has evolved so much over the last decade.
As has the sim racing world as well, because I made mention earlier, 2026 is going to mark the 20-year anniversary of Vidane as a brand. We used to be a super speedway league back in the NASCAR Racing 2003 by Papyrus or however you'd like to say it. I know there's many different ways to say the same brand name, but we even started back in NASCAR Heat in 2006. Steve Lavender and myself, yes, that's Steve Lavender from Trading Paints, worked together to get the first season out there, and then season 3 we had the whole season broadcast on iLM TV, and that's when we started getting 120 plus drivers showing up for 43 spots on any given Friday night. So man, just thinking back at it, it's been in the back of my mind for most of the day today. That was 20 years ago. So yeah, you make the joke you don't want to really date me, but I've been doing this for a long time. Not as long as Chris Graham though. I think he did it on a the floppy disk, the sim racing stuff.
Yes, actually, Chris Graham a couple of years ago, I got him a gift of the Indy 500 game from the late 70s for the old 8-bit Atari. I
Who
found
contact
it of it. Oh,
the other
into the
around me.
attenuator.
The tire? White flag, we stay green. Well, I guess we technically stay white. Ty Delphi's gone. That 13 car has himself about a 6.5 second lead. And as I say that, timing and scoring decides to do its thing.
I did say attenuator. It might be a big word for the oval guys, but the end of the pit wall in the rest of the world is called an attenuator. It attenuates the wall.
I see. I just call it a tire because when you hit the tire, you feel tired. I don't know. I made that up.
But yeah, Chris Graham been on doing the sim racing stuff for a long time. He still has a 4-digit iRacing user ID. I have a 6-digit ID, and that's considered pretty low.
I'm not even sure what mine is, to be completely honest.
Mine starts at 190, but Chris Graham was one of the first 10,000 people here on the iRacing platform.
Yeah, and it's definitely come a long way. We do have connection issues every now and again. We see on the live broadcast, but man, back in the day with 56K and dial up, there's kids out there that don't even know what we're talking about here at this point. But used to have to dial in on the Hawaii network, and you'd crank up the phone bill because it was a long distance thing, and man, it was craziness. Now you can finish your English homework and log onto the old family computer and plug in your steering wheel, and who knows, you might get racing with us. You might get racing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's a lot of different names, a lot of different folks on the iRacing service, and you know what? A lot of the best drivers are here with us on VidaneTV here on Tuesday night because just like that, it is feature time.
200 laps around the Five Flag Speedway here in Pensacola, Florida.
And we will take a look at the starting lineup. How about that? The boss man up front in the 21 VT, Kenny Hodgson. My goodness. Kason Hodgson in the 21 VT. Tegan Atkins very quick in that 88 car. Going to be on his outside.
Row number 2 is going to have Gary Wheeler in the number 3 spot in that 92 red and green Christmas machine. To his outside is going to be Dominic Frappier in the number 17.
Row number 3 looks a little something like this. RKM Setup Shop boss man number 72, Ryan Kuhn in P5. Kenny Thompson after that heat race win, going to roll off P6.
P7 going to have Matt Huntington in the number 99 machine. To his outside is going to be Stephen Rochefort in the 66 car.
Moving on back, Luke Shannon on the P9 and the number 13. Makoto Giroux going to round out the top 10.
P11 going to have Hayden Bushy in that number 15 Oil Bulls machine. To his outside is going to be the number 25 car of Riley McBetty starting in 12th.
Gary Wheeler in the other 92 car back here in P13. Dominic Frappier in the 05 car going to roll off P14.
P15 going to have Ashton Kennison in the 03. To his outside, Dominic LaFleur in the number 3 car.
P17 going to belong to the number 17, the 017 as it were, Jarvis Sawtile. In the 18th position going to be Dominic LaFleur
also
again, as we take
Dominic
the green flag. Gonna
Yeah,
have to write an email to the folks at the timing and scoring because we still got a couple of bugs, but it seems like it's getting itself fixed just a little bit.
200 laps the distance around this wonderful high-banked short track here in Pensacola, Florida. In the central time zone, something I did not know until this past running of the Derby.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense why it seemed like I was tired when I was at Five Flag Speedway, because the time doing all the travel, sometimes you don't pay attention to those time changes, and it definitely affects the psyche and the mood just a little bit.
Still single file for the top 5. Got to look to the 6th position C2 cars side by side.
Already getting a quick time there for the 8s as we get going. Look at this dogfight back here for that second half of the top 10. You can see Kenny Thompson in the 39 car down at the bottom, and that purple and blue car, or red and blue car, I don't even know my colors here this evening. Not even sure what's going on, but we're having ourselves a little bit of a race. They get it sorted out for about the top 10. They're still trying to figure it out from 10th on back.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Five Flags is it actually looks like we have a battle going on for the top spot, but some of these guys, you can sit around this track single file for 150 laps, and all of a sudden the gloves are off. And sometimes, just like right now, you got these guys fighting for the lead only 5 laps into this 200-lap feature race.
Yeah, they know they want to get up towards the front and try and drive away. If you can get yourself into clean air, you're able to pull away by quite a bit. We may very well see that from Kyle Goodbout, who's going to take over the lead in that 92 car. Still side by side, though, for second. Tegan Atkins in the 88 is there. Kason Hodgson is still there as well, albeit he's going to drop back to third. They're scrapping just a little bit for that fourth spot. Huntington in the 99 has it, but Luke Shannon in the 13 wants it.
Now single file for the top 3. These two still fighting side by side. Now the 66 car going to take a peek to the inside of the 99. Not able to get anything done there at a turn number 4. They're going to single file it back out before they hit turn number 1.
Yo, boys, late model national series showing us how to get it done here. A little single file action early on in this one. A little bit longer of a distance here tonight. We made mention 200 laps on the docket. It is a Triple Crown race. So these guys racing for some extra bracking rights and some extra coin in the pocket as well. Taking a look at the Triple Crown points, it is tight for the top 3 spots. JJ Goodbout holding on to the spot. He's got 60 points after the first race, moving on to the second race in the Triple Crown. Luke Shannon, Jake Grout, Tegan Atkins, and Ryan Kuhn are the top 5 in that running order. And it's essentially taking the points from these Triple Crown races, adding them all together, and these guys get a little bit of money, a little bit of bragging rights, and I believe there's a trophy on the line as well, but I could be mistaken. 12 laps down in this one, clicking off relatively quickly. Just taking a look at the lap times, it looks like about half the field in the 16-second bracket. And we may mention with the tires heating up, the track heating up, and conditions kind of changing throughout the racetrack, I do believe these guys are going to get a whole lot quicker before the tires start to fall off. You can see the 13 trying to get underneath that 21 Vermont car of Hodgson. Oh, they're going to switch it up just a little bit. Hodgson's going to go down on the bottom side here in 1 and 2. They're going to be drag racing towards that backstretch. Little contact, little sideways, big sideways. Whew, Kason Hodgson holds on to it. Gonna tighten the belts up after that one.
Again, gets touched in the rear and gets the back end of that car all sorts of sideways. Now the 15 car going to take the dive to the inside. Probably going to get the job done this time, especially now that the 21 car is up in the marbles at the top of the racetrack.
Rear of that 21 VT car rocking side to side, trying to get back down onto the bottom side. And that's one of those things with these sim racers and real racers. When you get that little bump, when you get sideways, you want to kind of keep focusing on the racetrack and everything around you, but it'll knock your concentration off. And you kind of have to take a couple of laps to refocus, get revamped, and get back to the attack. And that's hard to do when you're stuck up on the high side.
Not only that, but it overheats the rear tires when you start sliding them around like that. And then it's impossible to get them cooled down and back and grippy to where the car wants to drive like a normal car again. So you have to dial your pace back about 10-15%, really let those tires cool down before you can start pushing again. Otherwise, you're just going to make the problem worse and worse.
Rejoining the front 2 here, they've pulled out by about a second and a half over the rest of the field. Kyle Goodbout holding on to the lead. Tegan Atkins in the 88. P2 currently, and made mention of this earlier. Once you get out into that clean air, you can see there's nobody up in front of them, at least for a handful of laps before they start coming up on lap traffic at Five Flag Speedway here. But they've kind of pulled away by a little bit. They're not really racing each other too hard, so they're both kind of looking in the rearview mirror, seeing that third place driver getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, especially since they're not battling very hard. They're both just running single file, allowing themselves to pull away. The only disadvantage of pushing this hard and running this far away is if the caution comes out, all that advantage you worked so hard for is erased.
And got to make mention, I had to get up and close the window here in the temporary Vidane broadcast booth down here in Raleigh, North Carolina, because man, it got cold. I didn't know it was supposed to get cold down here in North Carolina, but indeed it did. And if you're cold up in the Northeast in Vermont, New Hampshire, give a shout to Heating Services. They're the presenting sponsor for tonight's Holiday Spectacular 200 at the virtual Five Flags Speedway. Get them over on the Facebook. I believe they've got a Twitter page as well. If I read the notes as well, let them know VidaneTV sent you. They will hook you up, make sure everything is hunky-dory and keeping you warm on these cold winter nights. And these front two, they're starting, continuing rather, to pull away. Luke Shannon's still in third.
Yeah, speaking of pretty chilly, it was about 10 degrees last night here in Akron, Ohio, and I had the bright idea of making some bacon for dinner, and I did smoke out my apartment a little bit, so had to open the window, and very quickly my thermostat went from reading nice and cozy 72 to it was down in the 50s in about 10 minutes in my apartment. It was freezing.
How high is your heating bill where you're going to keep it at 72 degrees? My goodness.
I had it at 74 today. I do have a gecko. The gecko needs it to be nice and warm. I like it nice and warm, and it's not a very big space, so my heating bill is actually not that insane. It's well insulated. It's a new construction, so it holds heat pretty well. Unless I smoke the place out and have to open a window.
Story of my life, brother. Just taking a look at the second half of the top 10. They are 3 wide trying to break into the top 10. Looking at the 17 there of Jake Smith. He's in ninth. Jake Grout right in behind them. And just as we take a peek at the action, they sorted out for the most part. You can see Gary Wheeler there as well for Pierre in the 05. Ashton in the 31 car. Ryan Kuhn all the way back to P14 in that 72 car. And started to make mention once again, that Ryan Kuhn from RKM Setup Shop. They've got a lot of laps. Ryan's got a lot of laps, and his team have a lot of laps around these short tracks here, and they have partnered up with the Oil Boys Late Model National Series, and they provide setups for pretty much every race car, every racetrack, all the trucks, all the different combinations here in the caution, big time wreck. Put a dog ear in that. The 66 gets another shot as well. Caution flag gonna fly here on lap 29.
Big carnage there. I was talking to myself there for a little bit. Didn't realize I had the microphone on mute.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you when your mute button is muted.
It is difficult, and this headset does have a red light on it. The problem is, no matter what, the microphone is out of my vision, so I never know when it's on or off. I kind of just guess.
That's how I get through my life. I just kind of guess, and if it doesn't work, well, we'll guess again.
It's the best way to do it.
100% working around under caution for the time being. Everybody going to get an opportunity to come down pit road. 200 laps on the docket. They're going to have to come down pit road at least a couple of times here this evening. At least once for fuel. I think they can go maybe 100 laps or so. I'd have to double check on the stats here at Five Flags, but it's definitely going to be coming down for tires at one point or another. We've seen a couple of long green flag runs here as well to virtual Five Flag Speedways. These guys know that they're going to have to try and save tires just a little bit. But we saw that side-by-side, almost 3-wide action early on in this one. I don't think any of these guys are really in conservation mode.
Yeah, now, these guys, do they have a tire limit? Or are they able to take as many sets as they want?
2 sets down on pit road, and the 4 tires that are on the car from qualifying. Actually, I think they put a new set at the beginning of the race, I think is how that works. So
I am not sure that I would want to take tires this early in the race. Only about an eighth of a way through this show, and to my math, that doesn't seem like a good idea to burn a set now.
Well, if you're not worried about track position, you could always come down pit road and grab the old phone or tablet, shoot on over to Vidane.tv/DoorDash, get yourself signed up for a new account, and get $8 off your first 4 orders at DoorDash, rather, courtesy of VidaneTV. Great to have them on board to sponsor DoorDash Victory Lane here on VidaneTV, and they're going to be sticking with us all winter long. The pace car, he's going to do that very same thing. He's going to grab some DoorDash on pit road. Green flag flies once again. Was that a Majeski jump for good battle? Or was that just a clean start?
I was just thinking the same thing. That was a very, very, if not a jump, a very, very great start.
We'll see if Race Control calls that one back. They're going to cross the stripe, and we are still green, so it looks like everything okay. We'll get my eyes checked here at some point here. I did get LASIK back in 2020, so I do have 2020 vision, but never know. Sometimes we miss the details.
Did you wait till 2020 to get your eye surgery done just so you could make that joke?
I actually didn't know that was the joke until 2021. Because I didn't realize that you didn't really need to have good credit to get LASIK. And that was what was kind of holding me back. So I ended up getting it, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got LASIK back in 2020. And everybody kind of chuckles and sighs, and then they usually leave.
Story of my life.
So 31 laps down here this evening, 169 laps to go, 168 once they cross the stripe. Everybody going to take it slow here, rejoin the pace car, rejoin the field. It gives the guys an opportunity to come down pit road, maybe top off the fuel tank. One of the things that we like to talk about here with these late models, the pit crews are a little bit slower than what you would see in like a NASCAR Cup or a Truck Series or what's the Xfinity Series? I almost forgot what the Bush League was called. And
It's actually the O'Reilly Auto Parts series now.
that's yeah, I got to stop living under a rock and actually keep up on my racing news here. Yeah, you know what? O'Reilly doesn't pay me, so I guess it's okay.
That is fair. Still the Bush series to me.
Still the Bush Series indeed. But when they come down pit road here in iRacing with these late models, it does take quite a bit of time to get the fuel into the car. So you might see a couple of drivers. I believe that's Hodgson in the 21 Vermont car. He may lose a lap. I'm not sure if he made it off. Nope, he did. He did beat the pace car. So he's going to rejoin the tail end of the field. And that may very well be an advantage because if you're able to come down pit road and put a little bit of fuel in and a little bit of fuel in and a little bit of fuel in. When it comes time where everybody else has to come down pit road and fill their tanks, you're only going to be on pit road for a couple of seconds because you've already got however much you've put in under those early cautions. So, and anyway, that's how I used to do it, and that's why I was usually a backmarker when I raced in the Super Speedway series. Is that I was in, but lots of different strategies, just like in the real world of racing, and that's what's kind of cool with the iRacing service.
That we ran a little 500. Now, of course, iRacing does that have Anderson, but we ran it at Southern National. So 500 laps around that track in the sprint cars, and it takes about a minute to fully refuel that almost 50-gallon fuel tank in those cars, which is a lot of laps lost. So every time there's a caution, we would come down, just splash the fuel off because that would save you many, many, many seconds when it came time for the big fuel fill. And you needed at least 5 fuel stops to make it the full 500 laps around that track.
Green flag once again for the 92. A good bout, able to pull away just a little bit side by side there for a second. Tegan Atkins in the 88 down on the bottom side. The Luke Shannon machine, the number 13 up in the top. He's going to take advantage of that middle groove. Look like it's starting to get a little bit on the grippy side. Single file now for the front 3, 4, 5 drivers. So good bout holding on to the lead. Luke Shannon, Tegan Atkins, Jake Grout, and the 15 there of Hayden Bushy, the top 5 as they run, or Ryan Kuhn rather, all the way up to 6th. He was outside the top 10 a couple of laps ago. Driver Stock Tile, Matt Huntington, Dominic Frappier, and Ty Delphi, the top 10 as they run. You can see they're getting single file once again. They know this is a little bit longer race here for the Triple Crown event. 200 laps on the docket, as we made mention, and getting close. This is kicking things off for the second half of the season here. 5 races down. This is going to be the 5th race as we had to reschedule for snow a couple of weeks ago here in the Northeast. That race is actually going to be run Lanier, the Lanier 150 going to be run on December 23rd here on VidaneTV. So be sure to come back and join us that and through all the Tuesdays, all the way through February. Five Flag Speedway here tonight. The Stafford race going to be next week. That's going to be fun. That's my home track. 113 laps for Teddy Christopher. That's going to be a fun race. Langley, Southern National, and New Smyrna to close out the season. And that third Triple Crown race is going to be the Southern National 250. So that's going to be 250 laps around that joint. That's going to be a whole lot of fun.
The weekend we're down in Daytona, we got to see if they're running something at New Smyrna Speedway because it's not a very long drive from the Daytona International Speedway, and that's a track that's always been on my bucket list, especially if we can catch some modified practice going on down there.
That week that we're going to be down in Daytona for the Rolex 24, that got a whole lot more exciting as well. Already excited to get down there and hang out with the boys in Daytona, have a couple of wobbly pops, adult beverages, as it were, and watch some race cars go around left and right around Daytona for however many days that they race down there. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Really looking forward to it. Got on the horn with Wes Hogue, VidaneTV co-founder. Had some business to talk with him. He's going to be down at Daytona for the Rolex 24. So it's going to be a VidaneTV party down in Daytona. If you're free, you're available, hop on a Velo flight. It's like $60 to fly down there if they're in your area.
Yeah, unfortunately, not the case for me up here in the Akron Canton region. I'm going to end up flying out of Cleveland, and to fly straight into Daytona is almost $1,000. So I will be flying into Orlando, renting myself a nice little car, and making the 2-hour hop down the Daytona up I-4.
You know what? I didn't actually check the prices for that weekend. I'm going to have to do that before too long. Going to have to get down there one way or another. And February, I'm down in Florida for the entire month of February, so that's going to be a whole lot of fun doing some NX racing at Auburndale. We're going to be there. I think we're doing some figure eight racing, heading down to the Atlanta Cup weekend at Echo Park Motor Speedway down in Atlanta, Georgia, or outside Atlanta, Georgia. Hanging out with some sim racers down there as well. So if you're down there at the races or you see any of the VidaneTV guys at any racetrack, be sure to run on over, say hello, buy them a beer. You don't have to actually do that, but say hello, get a little fist bump picture, put it up on social media, and always remember to introduce yourself because I hear a lot of voices in my head and in the sim racing world. And unfortunately with iRacing, you don't really see faces. So a lot of times folks will recognize me. I don't know who they are because I don't know, not listening. Not that I'm not listening, but I don't get to see them as they race around here. And that's actually going to be one of the things we're going to be adding here on VidaneTV in 2026. Working on the tech, as they say, to get some in-car footage up on the screen, and going to be tinkering with that here in the next couple of weeks. Just more things that we keep adding to our repertoire of tools here at VidaneTV.
Yeah, I am excited for what the future holds here on these iRacing broadcasts. I've upgraded my studio a little bit, and the amount that we can do now versus what I was able to do 5-6 years ago is just incredible.
100%. Little side by side action. A little bit further on in the pack, taking a look at the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. Tydelphi in the 13 car, able to pull away just a little bit. There's the 17 to Sawtile. Matt Huntington there in the 99. Mark McAskill right there in the hunt as well with the 3 car, as is the Gaudet Jr. number 17 black and red machine there as well. They get it kind of sorted out here. A lot of give and take early on in this one. These guys know it's a long way to go, short time to get there, or a long way to go, enough time to get there. Just as I say that, we're 3 wide towards the back of the pack. Kenny Thompson trying to make up some ground in that 39 car after being involved in that wreck early on.
Yeah, I believe the fast repair stays through the feature. So if they had them on for the heat races and for the Consi, I think they would have them for the feature. So just because you had a big wreck early on doesn't mean you're down for the count just yet.
Gonna be something these guys are gonna have to keep an eye on though, because once you use that fast repair, it is Dunsky's. You're not able to use it again. A lot of leagues will run 1 or 2 as we get a caution flag. Looks like we're gonna get an opportunity to potentially use maybe one of those quick resets.
Well, the goal should always be to not need to use it.
Yes, very very accurate. Couple of drivers off the pace. Riley McVetti in the 25 has some big damage there on the right front involved in this one as the drivers pull up to the back of the pack. Well, you will see what the race does here. Technical difficulties. It's only live TV, right?
Yeah, a little bit of technical difficulties. Does look like the YouTube stream is still up, which is always a good sign. But unfortunately, I can't see any of the action going on as it happens.
Unfortunately, neither can I. Having some
Oh,
trouble.
well,
We'll get that worked out.
that is an issue.
So the fans at home can still see. So that's good news. We will get that all sorted out here. Ta-da!
Oh, there we go. Like magic, we are back in the studio.
There
Little
we are.
fun of
Somebody
the
must have
internet.
tripped over. Yeah, somebody must have tripped over one of those Wi-Fi connectors.
Somebody
I don't
opened a
think that's.
window. They're letting the Wi-Fi out.
Oh man, that's good. That's up there with slipping in some sailboat fuel out there in turn 4. So under caution, once again, 52 laps down, 148 laps to go here. Triple Crown 2 event. One more Triple Crown event to, I believe it's the second to last race of the season here on a Tuesday night. And once again, these guys racing all the way through the first week of February here on VidaneTV. And second season, these guys have kind of grown by leaps and bounds over the past 2 years. It's kind of cool to see. Qualifying has kind of evened itself out. It's very quick to get things done. No qualifying laps, no quick times or anything like that. Just throw everybody into a heat race and let them rip. Take the top 5 and then run the LCQ. And here we are, feature time, as we take the green flag once again.
Yep, should have 50 in the books, or 52 in the books now. 148 laps remaining in this one. That Christmas themed car up there in the top spot, that one is definitely I'm gonna pull for him. It's Christmas time. He's probably the only guy in the field that's properly decorated here for the Christmas time season.
There are a couple of Christmas time cars throughout the field. We'll see if we can pull up through
Yeah, but
the night.
no other Christmas themed cars are in the lead right now.
That is a very accurate statement. That's very true. As the caution flag flies once again, looks like the 25. Nope, not off the pace. Just kind of hanging out. Everything looking good for that 25 car. There you can see the Patrick Swister, number 16 car off the pace. A little bit of damage there on that right front once again. Seems to be the order of the evening with the damage here. That outside wall comes up on you pretty quick.
Yeah, typically you're going to want to avoid hitting that outside wall. You can see there's lots of scuffs there in the white paint. It does happen pretty often here. You got your Darlington stripes, and then you got your Pensacola stripes, and a lot of these guys getting their Pensacola stripes now on the right side of those cars.
And that's what's cool too about iRacing and the sim racing world. Some of those scuffs were there when they scanned the racetrack. Some of those scuffs were put in by the sim racers here tonight. As you can see, a couple of drivers going to come down pit road. The 17 is there and down and away. The 92 as well. So about a half dozen cars or so getting a little work done, topping the tank off with fuel, grabbing a quick drink and maybe a little snack or something. And you've been doing this sim racing bit. You've driven, done the broadcast and stuff, and that's always. I think that's going to be one of the questions I start asking some of these drivers because, quite frankly, I'm curious. When you're in a long 200 lap race like this on the sim rig, where you're in the comfort of your own home, in the shop, or wherever you may have your rig set up, what kind of snacks do you eat while you're racing?
I typically try to stay away from the snacks. Anything salty, I stay away from because it's going to make me want to drink more. And then I'm going to need to get up and go pee. But you can't really go pee while you're in the middle of a side-by-side battle fighting for the lead. So I try to avoid any snacks, maybe take a sip of my drink while I'm sitting there in pit lane. Usually just trying to fan myself off if I had the VR headset on, pull that off quick, just trying to get some air on my face, cool myself down a little bit.
I usually go with either Cheez-Its for one reason or another, or Sour Patch Kids. I'm a big fan of the Sour Patch Kids. They don't pay us, but they should. Green flag once again out, and you can see that restart zone, the famous restart zone here now at Five Flag Speedway. Looks like both drivers are taking off at that first line, and they're still side by side coming out of turn 2.
I will say I am a fan of Gushers, but I recently bought some gushers after not having any for a couple years, and they changed the recipe of them. They're not as good as they used to be.
Yeah, I made a very happy noise hopping into the Pit Row TV trailer, production trailer at the last gig, and I saw in the snack corner, Tony had picked up a great big box of Gushers, and I guess I made a really happy sound because everybody heard it. And you're right, they taste a little bit off.
There's
Still
not as
good.
much gush in them.
No, not as much gush. A little
They're
bit more
skipping on the gush.
skipping on the gush and making you chew a little bit harder too. But it also might have just been that they were old.
I do enjoy every time I step into the Stevens trailer there. There's always an abundance of Slim Jims, and I like to stuff my pockets before I go out to wherever I'm shooting the camera. Make sure I have plenty of Slim Jims. That would probably be my snack of choice.
Got to stay fed and got to stay hydrated as well when you're out in the elements at the racetracks, whether you're a driver, a crew chief, or a crew guy, or camera op, production guy, wherever you may be. There's all sorts of stuff going on at the real racetracks, sometimes at the sim racing tracks as well. Still under caution here at the virtual Five Flag Speedway, live all over the place here this evening, trying to take over the internet as we do here at VidaneTV, live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all sorts of cool stuff. Shoot on over to that YouTube page and give us a subscribe and a like, because that is going to be the kind of flagship deal here at VidaneTV as we cross into 2026. I sound like a broken record, and I'm tired of hearing myself say the words, but there is so much cool stuff going on here at VidaneTV in 2026 in the sim racing world and the real racing world. May mention 20 years for the Vidane brand, and it's funny. I get the question every once in a while. It's been a little while since anybody asked me, but they'll come up and they'll say, "Hey, what's a Vidane?" Nothing. It's just a nonsensical made up word by Steve Lavender back 20 years ago.
Dennis Leslie checking in the comments saying Nerds Clusters would be his favorite snack to have while he is racing, and I can get behind that one. Nerds Clusters, they're good. They're not like a normal box of Nerds where you got to really focus as you're trying to eat them. They're in that little gummy cluster. You can just grab a handful of them, pop them in the mouth, and head on back onto the racing surface.
Where's my pen? I'm going to add those to the grocery shopping list here. You know what? I'm going to tell Tony to pick some of those up. Maybe we can get Tony to pick some up for the Rumble and Four Wayne coming up this week. Oh, that's right. You're not going to be there.
That is correct. I am only 4 hours from that show, but a little bit farther away from Pensacola here where we're racing tonight.
And you can see Goodbout doing what he does best, leading this thing in Santa Slate. We're going to start calling that 92 car Santa Slate because he is up front and digging. You can see Jake Grout is behind him, though, in that 49 car, 16.704, the quick time so far. We saw these guys get down into the sixes during the heat races here. Just taking a look at timing and scoring, about 60 laps on this set of tire for the front 12. First guy with new tires is going to be Riley McVetti back there in 13th in that 25 car. And you can see Goodbout just making it work. He's able to pull away by at least 10 car lengths as the caution flag going to fly once again here on lap number 59. Brandon Lambert off the pace there in the 7. You can see he's going to rejoin the field here and getting more and more laps on these tires, on these virtual cars here. You'll start to see a couple of guys maybe come down pit road, and as the leaders drive on by, everybody up in the front 5, maybe front 10 or so stay out. So I guess they're all going to call me a liar. They're going to come around and stick it out for just a little bit of time. There's a couple of guys towards the back that are come down and get the attention of their virtual pit crews. But we made mention 2 sets of tires down on pit road, and pitting these late models on the short tracks, it takes a long time for the fuel, but it also takes a long time to change these tires as well. So a lot of times when you're sitting there on pit road watching these guys, you'll see they'll take 2 tires and then come around, join the tail end of the field, and come down and take the other 2 tires as well. So it's a lot of strategy that kind of gets into it. That's why I was never really good at the racing part of it. I just kind of jump on the microphone and run my mouth, and I'm a whole lot quicker.
Yeah, I feel like I really need to get back into the racing side of things. I just recently built a nice big triple screen setup. I got the rig, I got a nice wheel, and frankly, I just haven't had the motivation to get back behind the wheel of a sim racing car. I've been using it a lot for flight sims and a little bit of train sim and farming sim here and there, but I think I need to start going fast again.
Yeah, the triple screen setup is awesome until you run out of room. And there's going to be some folks out there. How do you run out of room with triple screens? I don't know. More and more stuff gets added in, especially to do these broadcast races here on VidaneTV with the iRacing service. Lots of buttons, lots of different programs and things, lots of things in play, as it were, to make sure we get on the air.
I definitely went overkill on the size. I got three 40-inch screens basically surrounding me, full peripheral. I have to turn my head all the way to see either end of the side screens. It's obnoxious. But it's a setup I've wanted to build for a while and hoping it would give me the motivation to get back into sim racing, and really hasn't.
Gonna have to add that to the to-do list here at Vidane HQ. But green flag gonna fly once again. A good bout in the 92. He chose the high side that time. Grout in the 49. He's gonna be down in the bottom. In the 49, that's another one of those Christmas cars.
Still not in the lead, though. We're gonna still give that honor to that 92 machine of Santa's sleigh.
Would that make the 40? Well, hang on. Technically, wouldn't the 49 be the sleigh and the 92 would be Rudolph? Right?
No, the 92 is the sleigh and the 49 is the Grinch trying to chase down the sleigh.
See, there you go. And the 88 Atkins, he's side by side with the 72 of Ryan Kuhn. They're still side by side as they cross the stripe. The 88 in front by a nose that time by as we work lap number 62. And they're still racking off quick times. How about a 685 for Gary Wheeler in that 92 car up front?
Still a half a second off of the lap record here while I still get the history up there. The last fun fact on here is the current lap record is a 16:120 set by Ty Majeski, qualifying in 2015. Has not been broken for over a decade now.
Do you think he jumped the start in that one too?
I don't think you could jump the start in qualifying.
Sure you can. We kid because we care. Ty Majeski, big fan of the iRacing service. He's so good at iRacing that he's got two accounts. Count them, 1, 2, with a 10,000 I rating.
Is he still the highest ranked driver on iRacing, or has his rating not faltered but been surpassed since he's started to focus more on the real world side of things?
So the fans are going to hate me, and as is Ryan Kuhn, but I think Ryan Kuhn is up there. I think the only caveat is Ty Majeski literally has two accounts with his name on it, and both of them have a 10,000 I rating. Close to it. It may have come down, like you said.
Yeah, but if you do it once, it's not hard to do it again. It's not like your skill level is going to drop when you log into the second login.
True. And both drivers very, very quick on the sim and in real life. And always cool to kind of bridge the gap between sim racing and real racing like we do here on VidaneTV. And it makes it fun getting out to the real racetracks, whether we're working a show or we are, going down to Daytona, do a little partying, potentially. Not potentially, the Atlanta Cup race on the docket as well in February. That's going to be a whole lot of fun once again. And be sure to shoot on over to all of our social media outlets, the Facebook, the YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff, because we're going to be putting a lot more racing content, real racing content, as I do a lot of traveling. It just makes a lot of sense. I go to a lot of racetracks now with this new job, doing the camera operator thing, and well, I'm a camera operator, so why not make some beautiful content, put it up on the interwebs for all the fans out there to see? Because, man, you and I, Biz, we've got one of the coolest jobs out there.
Yeah, if only I knew how to run a camera, I would probably get into that TikTok thing too, but I am clueless.
Well, there's a lot of folks on TikTok that are kind of clueless, so it might not be as much of an uphill battle as you think. Got to give a shout out to Fast One Motorsports this evening. They are big trouble.
Yellow once again.
Up on the outside wall. That wall sneaks up on these guys very, very quick. You can start to see there's a lot of guys that have that right front damage up on that wheel well. There you can see, I believe that was Macasil in the 3 having some damage back there as well. And we do apologize for not having the hookup on the instant replay. These remote shows that I do the traveling on, I keep forgetting to to pack that little button box with the replay button. So we're gonna have to pick one of those up for the travel thing. We did pick up a travel headset because I forgot mine at home. So had to swing on over to the Walmart as we've got some pit stops underway, and they're being led by Santa Slay in that 92 car. I want to keep an eye on that 92 as everybody else follows in behind him. We'll see if he takes 2 or 4 tires, as he's going to be all the way down there on that first, maybe second pit stall. There you see the right side getting jacked up. Everybody else kind of falling in behind him. And you can see just how long that car is up in the air. 2 tire stop for the car right in behind him. Ryan Kuhn, he is going to beat the 92 off pit road, and that's going to change those 2 positions around a little bit, and it's going to knock him down through the field a bit as well, because that 2 tire stop, a lot of drivers stayed out, and as it's looking here, top 5 have stayed out. They're all on 72 lap tires. New leader going to be that's not the leader. There's the leader, the 3 car, I believe, of Therian. Nope, that's the other 3 car.
You will get it eventually.
I'll get it eventually. I'll figure it out. And it's funny too, because we make the joke here in the iRacing world. You know, there are literally 100 numbers between 1 and 100, plus all the 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Why would you have multiple duplicate numbers? They do it in the real racing world as well. It's the craziest thing. There's so many numbers to go around, and every once in a while we'll get some dupes or some trips or whatever it may be. But new front row, everybody behind the pace car, these tutting the lights off on the top of that thing. We're lined up 2 by 2, getting ready to rock and or roll. Once again, the 15 car up in the mix, but that 3 and the 99 of Huntington gonna roll off on that front row. This is gonna be interesting. There's 5 or 6 drivers out there that they've got about 70 laps on those tires, original set they started with as we take the green.
Yeah, it's going to be fun watching some of these drivers who did take tires. As soon as they get up to temp, they're going to start to push their way through this field. But right now, it's all action up front from the guys who didn't take tires, and there's carnage in the back. Bunch of cars taken out.
Oh, we are going to be selling some virtual sheet metal after that one. Lots of drivers involved. It looks like everybody able to pull away. Grabbing a gear, spinning on around, and getting going once again. Here you can see once again right front damage for the 49 of Grout. He was up in the second position. Make mention we saw him come down pit road, took 2 tires as it were, and 4 tires looking at the pit stop. 24 seconds to get tires put on that thing. So he's going to have to restart all the way in the back of the pack. There you see Kenny Thompson going to come down pit road, join a couple of other drivers there as well. And that we keep saying that outside wall kind of sneaks up on you, especially when you try and get 2, 3 wide mid-pack on back, trying to get up into the top 10, top 5.
Yeah, not even halfway yet, but some of these guys know what's on the line here. It's the turning point of the season. After this, we're going to start getting closer and closer to the final race of the season, so don't want a bad finish tonight. And I don't know if these guys have any drop weeks or not, but you definitely don't want to have to use those drop weeks.
100%. Taking a look through timing and scoring, still 22 drivers out in the field of the 24 that started here tonight. Looks like everybody out there is on the lead lap. The one driver in the garage area going to be the 16 of Patrick Switzer. Kenny Thompson back there. He may lose a lap down on pit road this time by. We'll see if he can get out in front of the pace car. But great fields here in the Vermont and New Hampshire racing series here with the Oil Boys on board for the iLM Model National Series here. And Fast One Motorsports jumping on as a sponsor once again for VT and NH Racing News, Vermont and New Hampshire, for those that can't put the letters together. I know I can't spell half the time, but they're going to be covering a lot of action up in the Northeast. Milton Cat American Canadian Tour, Thunder Road International Speed Bowl, White Mountain Motorsports Park. They're going to be making a few appearances over at Claremont Motorsports Park, Thompson Speedway, Riverside Speedways, and Oxford Plains, like we were talking about earlier on in the show. And those are all right in my backyard, so I'm going to try and get myself out there and visit some of those racetracks, because there's a lot of those tracks that I haven't been to yet.
Yeah, Oxford's one that's definitely on my list. Most of the tracks up in New England, frankly, New Hampshire and or Loudon and Stafford are the only two I've been to, and I only got to Stafford last year, and I grew up in that region.
Yeah, Stafford a home track for me as we take the green flag once again. Front four get single file, and the front three are running away with it. And you can see there's some damage on that. I believe that's the 36 car of Giroux getting on down and around. Doesn't seem to be slowing them up just at all. You can see going to take a peek down on the bottom side, trying to take away second from Huntington in the 99.
Yeah, not quite able to do it just yet, but he keeps peeking down there towards the inside. Now, a little bit of right front damage on that car, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him one bit.
Picking them up, putting them down here at the Virtual Five Flag Speedway, and take a look at the middle of the pack. These guys are racing hard back here, trying to get into the top 10 and trying to hold on to their top 10 spot. Little side by side, couple of drivers up, kissing that outside wall as they cross the stripe, and that's the same in real racing as it is. The 77 all the way up into the outside wall. He's having some issues with that thing. Tries to gather it back up, and Lambert, he's pointed in the right direction. Look like going to come down pit road in that 7 car, the black and yellow machine, and that's going to bring out the caution flag once again. They're all going to fall in behind that iRacing pace car. Lights on. Working caution once again. Virtual Five Flag Speedway. Got to thank everybody for tuning in here this night, welcoming us into your homes or your shop or wherever you may be watching from. Once again, we're live all over the place. We're on YouTube, all the social media outlets. YouTube's going to be the big one, though, in 2026. We're going to be adding a lot more content other than the sim racing stuff. Still going to be doing the sim racing probably 5, 6, 8 nights a week as we do here on VidaneTV, trying to entertain the masses. But we're going to be adding a lot of real racing content, potentially a little wrestling content as well, some short form stuff, some long form stuff. Got a couple of podcasts that we're cooking up here as well. So lots of cool stuff going on. Always looking for some marketing and some advertising partners. If you want to get your logo or your brand out into even more of a brand loyal group of fans, is the sim racing folks over the real racing stuff. Because if you're going to support the hobby of these sim racers and the sim racing fans and the guys that put on the broadcasts and stuff, you bet your bottom dollar they're going to go out and support your product or your service because, as a thank you. And that's why you see a lot of these guys will get out there and support some of these sim racing leagues. And the Oil Boys iLM on Nationals is no different. A lot of great partners that are here paired up with these guys as the pace car is down on pit road once again. Green flag flies for the 3 and the 99.
Yeah, speaking of sponsors, a couple years ago, Daredevil Brewing out there in Indianapolis. I don't know if you got to visit their brewery while you were in Indianapolis. Or I don't know if you went down there, but that is just a great brewery, but I would have never heard of it if they never sponsored one of our iRacing leagues. And the first time I went out there for PRI, I made sure to stop off at the brewery on Main Street in Indianapolis. And frankly, fantastic beer there, fantastic food. Not a big pizza guy, so I didn't try their pizza, but they had some hot dogs that were about 1.5 feet long and freaking incredible. So just the sim racing sponsorship works. I drove all the way from New York City to Indianapolis to go try some Daredevil. So
How are you from New York City and you're not a pizza guy?
I don't like cheese and I don't like tomato sauce. And that's kind of two of the main ingredients. You can't substitute those two. I do not.
How do you not like cheese? Don't talk to me for 5 minutes. I'm just kidding. We're working here. Still green here at the Virtual Five Flag Speedway. We talked about that clean air, that 3 car of Macasill. He's pulled away by about a half second over Huntington in the 99. Rochford there in the 66. He's up in the top 5, as is Giroux and Sata, the top 5 as they run. Kyle Goodbout, though, Santa Slay, as it were, in that 92 car with 2 fresh tires on the outside looking in, trying to break back into that top 5.
Yeah, all these guys fighting side by side, and it's allowing that lead car to absolutely run away, but not for long, as the caution flag's going to come back out once again, and these guys are going to reel the leader right back in.
looking at the timing tower, I saw Kenny Thompson drop quite a few spots relatively quickly, and there you can see he is parked on pit road. So might have to call a tow truck to get that thing out there. That's one thing iRacing doesn't have is the actual real tow truck. You do have to push the button, and it just
I,
resets you down on pit
I,
road.
I don't want them to change that. Absolutely not. If I have to wait for a real tow truck, now, I don't know about you, but I've been to a lot of podunk dirt tracks all through kind of the Kentucky, West Virginia region, and you could have a 4-lap heat race with one crash with one car kind of stuck in the wall, and it'll take all of 45 minutes and 3 tow trucks to flip a mini stock over and pull it back into the infield. I don't need to simulate that in the virtual world. I got better things to do.
Oh, that's half the fun. That's most of the show is watching the tow truck guys struggle just a little bit. We love our track workers. We love the tow truck guys. They are a big part of racing, just like everybody else. But man, oh man, sometimes you wonder where they learned how to hook things up. I remember one track, I don't remember, or one show rather, I don't remember exactly where it was, but they loaded up a Legends car on the hook on the tow truck, and this young kid kind of sat on the bumper of the tow truck and just held his feet out to hold the Legends car to keep it from bumping into the back of the track or the back of the tow truck rather. And I remember saying over comms on the production loop, "Hey, that's not exactly the smartest thing I've ever seen at a racetrack." And well, apparently my mic was hot and it made it to the broadcast, so I had to get my wrist slapped on that one. But it's always great to have the track workers out there making sure everybody stays safe and getting these cars back to the garage areas safely, getting them home, getting them fixed up, and getting back out to the racetrack.
Yeah, absolutely we need track workers, but I think my $1 million idea is training tow truck operators on how to get a car off the racetrack in less than half an hour.
They need a little bit of guidance from John Kelly, the greatest. I think he's the third time running in a row safety guy of the. I'm not sure exactly what the official made up title is, but shout out to John Kelly, good friend of ours here at VidaneTV. As little single file restart action here. Race Control letting these guys know, hey, we got a show to run. We're not even halfway here at this point. So we're going to shake it up just a little bit. Single file restart. You can see the front four pulled away, and they are duking it out for that 5th place position.
Yeah, sometimes you do need to jump back to that single file restart, especially when you have back-to-back cautions. Cautions breed cautions, and sometimes the single file restart, one gets in the driver's head going, okay, we're not doing a great job here. But also, it spreads these guys out. They're not side-by-side going into the corner. And if you want to get side-by-side with someone, you got to catch them, and you got to force your way in there. So really makes you take a step back and think, and seems to be working. We've got a green flag lap in now. It's kind of reset these guys, and hopefully we can take a bunch more off.
Little side-by-side action. The 36 down on the bottom side with that right front damage. Huntington and the 99 up on the top side, trying to make it work. Looks like going to slide back just a little bit. There is a bit more momentum on that high side middle groove if you're able to keep the car on there. Almost saw a little crossover action. Thought better of it, and Huntington in that 99 car. Going to go back to that middle groove, and that's going to open up the door to Kyle Goodbout. Santa Slay in the 92 car. He's quick. He's got 2 refreshed tires on the right side, and he is down on the bottom of that racetrack, making that thing do the work for him. Kyle Goodbout up to P4.
Yeah, the only disadvantage of the single file restart is you see your top 2 have absolutely run away from these guys. They didn't have a chance to battle it out and duke it out. These guys are so much faster than the rest of the field right now that there's no contest there for the 1st or 2nd spot.
And that's exactly what these guys want to see up in the front. The front 3 have not been down pit road yet for tires as we quickly approach the halfway marker. Takes a peek down low. Does Rochford in that 66. Going to think better of it and tuck it back into the tire tracks of Macasill in the 3. Coming out of turn 4 once again. Taking a peek again down on the bottom side. Now he's going to look up on the high side, doing his homework, trying to see where he could potentially get around that 3 car. The only other car out there that's on the same tires they started with is that 36, and you can see kind of struggling now on the high side as some of those guys that have come down at some point or another throughout the race have got at least 2 tires on their virtual late models here. Kyle Goodbout, he's going to move into the 3rd position. I think we're going to see him try and chase down the leaders because they are getting side by side and squirrely for that top spot.
Yeah, you see that 66 machine on the inside now, taking the shorter way around the track, but you see the disadvantage he has down the straightaways. It's not going to matter, though. He's going to clear for that top spot, and you have a new race leader.
66 making it look easy as he's going to pull away by quite a bit here after taking over the lead 3/4 of a second currently over the second place driver number 3 of Macasil, former leader Kyle Goodbout in third, and the caution flag going to fly. So we'll see if those guys are going to come down pit road. There you see Ty Delphi in the 13 coming off pit road with a little bit of damage there. Got to wonder if that's where that caution flag came out. And we'll see what the top two drivers do. They may very well have been trying to do this race on one stop, and they may very well be able to do that here as we approach the 100 lap mark. 5 laps away from halfway under caution. And there you see top two down pit road all by themselves. I'm a terrible singer anyway, and then I choked on my own spit there, so that was awful. I apologize for that.
Are you a Green Day fan at all?
Yes, I used to not be, but they're old and grumpy, just like I am. So yes, I am a Green Day fan.
So now you're old enough for the compact disc to have been in your lifetime. Have you ever listened to the entirety of the Dookie album on compact disc?
You know, I cannot say that I have.
There is a hidden track at the end of that. There, between the last song on the album and the hidden track, there's about 4 minutes of dead silence. And if you didn't pull the CD out of the player, it would start playing all by myself. But the Green Day version.
that's we're gonna have to pick that up and maybe use it as a theme song here at VidaneTV.
Yeah, now that Spotify's a thing, it's not so much a hidden track. It's on the track listing now, and you can just select it. But it wasn't a selectable track. You had to listen to the last track in the CD in its entirety, and then wait about 4 minutes of silence before you got the hidden track.
Oh, those compact discs were the thing back in the day. I remember they came out with the enhanced CDs, and the first one I ever picked up was actually, there's going to be some chatter in the chat, but it was actually Britney Spears' first album. And you could take that CD, the compact disc, and put it into either the DVD player or at the time PlayStation 1. That's a PS5, but 4 versions before for some of the younger fans out there. And it would play the music video of like the first three songs on the album. It was kind of neat.
I am kicking myself, but Black Friday weekend, my local video game exchange store had a sealed in box PlayStation original on sale. It was like $250, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't buy it because that'd be super cool to have on my shelves. But my first CD was actually "What's the Story, Morning Glory" by Oasis. What a great album that was.
Crossing the stripe after a single file restart, but we are side by side for the lead. Goodbout wants to take it away from the 66 of Rochford. I think it's just a matter of time with those fresh tires. A little bit of contact. Came up, give him a fist bump with the door handle, and he is still there. We still keep pointed in the right direction, rather. It's a 77 going to come down pit road, get some service to that virtual machine. Front four have broken away by just a little bit, but man, they are side by side for that lead as we are a lap away from the halfway marker in this one.
You know, speaking of PlayStation 1, I finally finished my Gran Turismo collection. I have every single copy of Gran Turismo. In the box disc version, I still have the jewel cases for Gran Turismo 1 and 2, the double jewel case that both of those games came in. They look absolutely fantastic sitting on my shelf all in a line.
You know, after the Xbox 360, I kind of switched over to the PC gaming side of things, and I don't even think I know I've got an Xbox somewhere, but they don't have any of the original games, the actual discs or anything like that. A lot of the online download content is kind of what I've been after the past, 2 decades, it seems like.
Oh man, physical media is where it's at. I got my Xbox original plugged in, got my Halo 2 copy in the disc tray, and right next to it, I have a cabinet stacked probably from my shoulder down to my feet of basically every title you can get on the Xbox original. Possibly my favorite console of all time, but everyone's got an opinion.
One of the things I'm gonna have to pick it up on the marketplace or eBay if eBay's still a thing, and see if I can get myself an original Xbox or even a PS1, because I just back in the day, I don't even remember what year. It was probably 07, 08 when it came out, but it was Blitz the League 2 as a football game, and it was just off the chain. Violent I almost called them wrecks, but it was essentially the tackles were worse than some wrecks. Pretty cool little football game from back in the day, and that's one of the things I kind of want to stream here on VidaneTV. Maybe get a little football action going on a Friday night.
Yeah, that would be a ton of fun to get going. But we're talking race cars right now. Now we have a 4-car fight for the top spot. 2 guys on fresh tires, 2 guys in old tires, and you see the fresh tires starting to make their way down on the inside.
And a fight it is. You can see they, at any given point, any of those 4 drivers can take over the lead. You can see Goodbout still holding on to it as he looks into his rearview mirror. He sees that 72 car of Ryan Kuhn, the RKM setup shop boss man, running around in that second position. Side by side now for third. Rochford is struggling in that 66 cars. He is screaming to his crew chief. He wants to get some tires. Making it work though, still in that middle groove, and we made mention the rubber buildup up on the outside wall and down on the apron around the virtual Five Flag Speedway, affecting these sim cars getting on around. You can see Tegan Atkins in the 88 now going to try and take away third from that 66 car, and he's hoping for a caution. I don't, it's tough to say because we did have that single file restart that kind of sorted everything out, gave everybody just a little bit extra, a little bit extra room. So we will see if that caution flag does come out, and you got to wonder what the fuel tank's going to look like on that 33 or the 66 car as well. A little kiss to the wall there, but we stay clean and green in that black and orange ride. I believe that's the number 17, if I am correct. We stay green. Back up front there, you can see the 2 cars with 2 tires have indeed pulled away by just a little bit. Stephen Rochford still holding on to third, but man, Tegan Atkins in that double A is on the bottom, and he is on the attack. He's got Gary Wheeler in behind him as well in that 92 car. He's up in the top 5. 2 of the 92 cars up in the top 5. There you see some of the damage there on the 77 car, the black and orange ride. He's going to come out of pit road, rejoin the field, albeit a couple of laps down, and he's going to hope for a caution as well. But how about this battle for the lead starting to heat up? Good bout on the high side in the number 92 car. Ryan Kuhn trying to take it away down on the bottom side. We saw those RKM setup shop cars quick last week as they sweep the podium. Each of those drivers part of the RKM setup shop in one way or another, and lots of laps. We made mention for those setup builders and lots of different setup builders in the iRacing world. They've got one of the more difficult jobs, I think, in the sim racing world because they're trying to build setups for everybody, every different racing style. And man, I got to tell you, in the short track world and real racing and sim racing, there are a lot of different styles.
Yeah, I know. I love a car that is absolutely on edge. Some people call them smiley setups. If you're an IndyCar fan, that's a throwback for you. But they are so absolutely loose, they just want to kill you the entire time you're going around the racing surface. And a lot of people can't drive a car like that. A lot of guys like a tighter car or maybe a car that's just a little on the loose side. And there's just such a huge range of how you can set these cars up. And what makes me fast, it might make the next guy really slow. And his setup that's right on pace at mine, I can't drive it worth a damn. So it's really fun seeing how these guys build these different setups.
And it's cool to see too. I remember years ago, I took a street stock setup at Stafford Speedway, and I actually took a screenshot, printed it out, and I brought it to the real Stafford Speedway, and I handed it over to Gary Spinato Jr., co-owner of Rent a Race Car, the team I've been working for. Goodness, for 15 plus years now at this point, they rent out street stocks at Stafford Speedway, and I showed him the setup sheet, and he's like, "There's no way this would work. What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, that's the only way I know how to drive them."
Well, yeah, and it's fun seeing the difference between the sim world and the real life world, and they have gotten a little bit closer, but I've had buddies who've worked on NASCAR Tour Modified teams and taken their Tour Modified setup sheets and plugged them in the iRacing and see what happened, and they frankly just don't work. What works in the real world doesn't necessarily work in iRacing. A lot of the principles are the same, a lot of the adjustments you make are the same, but the numbers themselves aren't quite one-to-one with the real world just yet.
Caution flag out. Looks like for the 77 car, had to call for the tow truck down on pit road. Caution car going to come back out. That is exactly what the 66 was hoping for. He wants some tires. He's probably going to need some fuel in that thing as well as we slow him down here for lap number 119.
But that rent a race car thing, that sounds kind of fun. I think I might have to drive up there to Connecticut and try that out for myself one of these weekends.
RentARaceCar26.com, the website. I know that because I'm the one that built it. Shoot on over. There's all sorts of frequently asked questions, some pictures, and kind of a little bit of about what goes in the shop. And it's always cool hanging out with those guys. Co-owner Paul Verricchio Jr. coming home with the late model championship at Stafford this year. Hadn't won a race in the late models in 15 years, and he came out and won. I think he won 5 races this year. Had a solid run all the way up to that championship. And go figure, I was on the road so much, I don't think I made it to Stafford one time this season. So have to make sure I put the Spring Sizzler on the schedule for next season and maybe get behind the wheel of one of those rent-a-race car street stocks. Happy to announce that this is going to be the 4th season in a row that VidaneTV is going to be on the quarter panel of the number 6 car in the rent-a-race car fleet. So that's a lot of fun. Got to give Gary a shout out. Always supporting everything we do here at VidaneTV, and it's just one more way that we're able to kind of cross the gap between real racing and sim racing. And back in 2011, I know that was a long time ago, but back in 2011 was actually the first time I went to Stafford Speedway. It was August 5th, now that I remember back. I just remember the date because it was the first time I was ever in a race car. So that was kind of cool. Got to drive in the feature event, finished 13th that day, and I got out of the car after the feature event, went up to Gary, said, "Great job. You're the first guy that hasn't spun out." I was like, "Oh, well, that's pretty cool. I can give that to iRacing." Not so much for the feel of the car, but I was able to set up a street stock race and kind of see the laser scanning. It is to a T. And I was able to hook up with a couple of Stafford guys, Corey Casagrande, Kyle Casagrande, Dylan Kopech, handful of other guys that run in the NEP series and the East Coast Winter League as we take the green flag here. They were able to kind of give me the braking points, the throttle points, where to turn, how to use the apron to turn the car. So it was cool to be able to take what you can learn in the iRacing world and transfer it over into the real world and vice versa.
Yeah, it's incredible how transferable it is. And the first time I hit Nelson's Ledges Speedway, or it's not a speedway, it's a road course, but first time I was on track out there, it was just incredible how it transferred from the sim racing world, running the track in GTR2 and some of the older sims, to all the braking points are almost the same. Now, granted, I was in my big, giant, heavy Lexus, but still just the way you hit the corners, when the car gets upset, when the car gets a little loose or a little tight, the things you do in the sim world to correct the car, they transfer right over to the real world. And it's a lot of fun being able to apply those skills with the old assometer instead of just watching it on a screen.
Assometer, that's another phrase that I won't say we coined it here at VidaneTV, but I like that one. I'm going to write that down. Kyle Goodbow holding on to the lead, but for how much longer? Ryan Kuhn keeps peeking the nose down on the bottom side in that 72 RKM setup shop ride. There you can see he is riding that white line all the way around this place, and he's shooting himself all the way up to that outside wall, utilizing every inch of this racetrack. And it looks like he's trying to run that qualifying line to see if he can close that little bit of a gap between he and the back bumper of the 92 car. The whole time, the 88 Tegan Atkins is looking on from third. Taking a peek down low, side by side out of turn number 4, loses a little bit of momentum, loses the back end of the car. We made mention these guys came down for 2 fresh tires. That was 54 laps ago as I'm looking at timing and scoring. So I imagine the new tire smell has worn off on those Hoosiers on those late models. And just taking a peek through the top 10 pretty much on older tires. Everybody from Matt Huntington in the 10th position on back came down for at least 2 tires. There are a couple of guys that took 4 tires on the outside of the top 10 looking in. They do have a little bit of time here as we work lap 127. Give that lap to the 92 car because they are just beating and banging on each other here for the lead.
Speaking of that new tire smell, I've had experience dating women from the Pittsburgh area, as well as every woman I've met from the Pittsburgh area. Yinzers, as they're affectionately known, love the smell of tire shops. That new tire smell, for some reason, is the greatest smell in the world, and I don't get it, but I much prefer the smell of burnt rubber, but that's just me. I like them spent and absolutely destroyed.
I was wondering where you were going to go with that. I can tell you exactly why that is. New tire smell means money because those tires are expensive.
Absolutely, they are. Nothing beats having to put a new set of rubbers on your car.
Used to have a 2010 Toyota Tundra, favorite truck, beautiful truck, Bud Light blue. Had a lot of fun with that truck, and when it was time to put tires on that thing, it cost me $1,400. So that's exactly why the women of Pittsburgh like that new tire smell. I,
Absolutely. It means you have cash to
maybe,
spend on Permane Brothers and everything else you can get in the Pittsburgh region.
or at least good credit.
Well, yeah, that too. A lot of places now they take buy and pay in for, and what's that, Klarna? You can buy your tires for Klarna now.
He can even buy used tires. And that 92 car, he might need some used tires on that right side. I think that's the first time we've seen Goodbout slip up all evening long as we get late in the going of this one. Ryan Kuhn and the 72 car are going to take over the lead as they thunder on down the backstretch. Those front three have pulled away by about a second, almost 2 seconds now over the fourth place driver. That's going to be the 05 of Dominic Verpeer. Luke Shannon in the 13, very quick there. He is running in fifth. How about Riley McVetti? In the 25 up in the mix. He's running in sixth. Jake Grout had some troubles early on in the 49. Running P7. Mac McAsill, Steve Rochford in the 66. He's got some fresh tires. He's up into the top 10 in ninth. And Makita Giroux up in the top 10 as they run. But they're all still chasing this duo, this trio, up towards the front. Everybody behind the bumper of the 72 of Ryan Kuhn.
Yeah, 72 trying to hold them off after Gary Wheeler in at number 92 has dominated most of this race. Had to make his way back up through the field after putting fresh rubber on it, but it seems to have paid off as these three have run away from everyone else. But not doing so much dominating right now, staring at the back bumper of that 72 machine.
Doing his homework, trying to see where he can put that car, where he's quicker, how long it takes to get to the back bumper, and potentially how long it's going to take to get on around him. You got to be careful with that, though, because as you're doing your homework, you click off these green flag laps and you start to lose track of time. You want to make sure you leave yourself enough time to A, find out what that final move is going to be, and B, when is it going to happen. Still cranking off the laps here. Green flag. The front 5, 6, 7 drivers came down 67 laps ago. That's the 7 drivers. Jake Rout in 49, the last driver in that group. Everybody else came down, it looks like 20 laps ago or so under caution to at least take those 2 tires. And it doesn't really seem like it's affecting the guys up towards the front. They do have that clean air, and they're really not abusing that right rear tire, like you mentioned earlier, as much as everybody else that might be running side by side or even 3 wide here at the virtual 5 flag speedway. So don't want to quite call it a Sunday drive, but they are making it look easy up in the front for the front 3 spots.
Yeah, having fresher rubber than the rest of the field really makes it easy to look like you're doing an easy job out there, especially when you're not fighting the car so much. None of these guys are stepping way out of line. They're just ticking lap after lap, getting these good long green flag run in.
Live all over the internet here at VidaneTV as we get close to the end of this one. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. We're on the gram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, or X, as it were, and we make mention every race, every chance that we get a chance to say the words. Shoot on over to that YouTube page and smash that subscribe button. There's over 650, I think we're closer to probably 675 live broadcasts on there from the iRacing world that we've been doing since 2020, back in March, when we started yelling into the microphones and streaming, beaming out our stuff out onto the internet. And got to thank everybody for supporting us over those 5 years. And we made mention earlier on, 2026 going to be the 20th year anniversary of the Vidane brand, starting back in 2026. Fun fact, Vidane Racing started out as a high school project for a business class. Had to come up with a little business and track stats and all sorts of stuff. So Steve Lavender wanted to get graded on some racing stuff, and here we are 20 years later. We're doing the TV thing and making magic happen, entertaining the masses as we were. A little bit of lap traffic for the 72 car. You can see he's going to dip down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Leader's able to get by. No fuss, no butts, no coconuts. The front two starting to pull away now from Tegan Atkins in the 88, about 8/10 of a second. The gap between second and third. But man, Goodbout is just all over the back bumper of that 72 car. And it seems like he's looking, he's searching the racetrack, trying to find a way around. You saw that last time by kind of peek down the bottom of the racetrack, get a little air on that nose to see if he can get it to turn, almost use that apron to upset the backside of the car, a little Stafford Speedway style, down on the bottom side of that flat apron.
Yeah, and that's one thing we do in the open wheel world is if the guy in front of you leaves just a little bit of air open on that bottom side, you're going to dip the left side of that car well below that white line. Just get it into some clean air so you can get some downforce on the left front of the car. On the open wheel cars, we got wings. On these cars, we got fenders, but those fenders still provide a good deal of downforce, and it's going to help you rotate that car. My question is, when is Goodbout going to make that move for the lead? When is he going to take that dive, make the shunt, possibly a little bump and run action here tonight?
Keep an eye on this 66 car as well. Stephen Rochford came down pit road 31 laps ago, took 4 tires. And you can see he made easy work of Riley McVetti on those older tires in the 25 car, starting to pull away, and he's setting his sight now on Luke Shannon in that 13 car. We know he's quick from the heat races earlier on as well, but they're still chasing the top 3. The top 2 still nose to tail. Just looking through the top 10, Ryan Kuhn, Kyle Goodbout, Tegan Atkins, they are the front 3. Luke Shannon, Stephen Rochford, Riley McVetti, Jake Grout, Gary Wheeler, Mike McAsill, and Makita Giroux, the top 10 as they run. There's Makita in the 17 car on the outside, or on the bottom side there in that cotton candy pink and purple car, trying to make a little magic happen, move on into the top half of the front 5 and front top 10, front half of the top 5. I guess it's just easier to say top 5, isn't it?
Any words are probably easier.
1,000%. One of these days, we're going to put together a blooper reel of just contact between those two drivers. They hold on to it, stay clean and green for the time being, but it's live TV. Everybody makes mistakes, and well, I'm no different. I make a lot of mistakes. That's why I'm good at a lot of things, because I break a lot of things. I know how to fix them.
Mistakes are the fun part of live TV. My favorite hobby is going on the old YouTube machine and watching blooper reels of news broadcasts, ESPN broadcasts, just about any kind of live television. You can find a blooper reel of it, and they're always absolutely hilarious.
Trouble for the 03 car down on pit road, calling for the tow truck. Going to bring us under caution here on lap 156. Less than 50 laps to go. And this is going to get interesting because you can already see there's a couple of drivers on the apron going to come down pit road. That 3 car involved in the incident. Looks like he's going to lose a lap as he comes off pit road. And everyone's going to tuck in behind that pace car. It's been 37 laps or so since some of the guys towards the back came down. It's been about 65 or 70 laps since these leaders have come down. And here they come. They're all going to chase the 72. He's going to come down for tires, as is the 92 of Goodbout. Look who stayed out. The 66 of Rochford made mention. He came down about 20, 30 laps or so ago to get some tires on that thing. He's going to pass these guys the easy way and retake the lead under caution. So there you see everybody jacking up the right sides of the car. They took 2 tires last time for the most part. Ryan Kuhn going to stick with 2 tires. He is already down and away, as is Goodbout. So a quick time from the virtual pit crew on the RKM setup shot number 72. And it looks like he's going to restart about P7. Had 6 drivers stay out under this one. There you see Steve Rochford going to lead them to the back bumper of the pace car. Looks like the Gary Wheeler machine is out there as well. There's Jarvis Sawtile and a couple of other drivers as well. It's kind of timing and scoring. It's just doing some kind of weird thing here in the production trailer. So we're going to let that sort itself out, and we'll take a peek at it. But they are all chasing down that 66 car. Very quick earlier on. Led some laps, came down pit road, got some tires a little bit ago, and get a restart on the front row with less than 50 laps to go, getting closer to 40 laps to go here in this one. We talked about that clean air, and we saw how these guys have been able to pull away on older tires if they're able to get to that clean air. This might be exactly what the 66 ordered.
Yeah, clean air is frankly the most important thing at any form of racing now. All these cars, those rear wings are huge. These cars don't necessarily have a diffuser, but they have a pretty sealed off underside. So any bit of downforce you can get is going to be a huge advantage. And being in dirty air, it wipes away all of that downforce, makes it very difficult to turn the car in the corner. You want to be up there, up front in the lead.
Race control with 2 thumbs up, back to the double file restarts through that restart zone. Green flag flies for these drivers. 66 of Rochford able to pull away. He's got about a car length, maybe 2 over the 92 of Wheeler. 2-3 wide almost towards the back of the pack. Caution flag going to fly once again. A couple of drivers getting a little squirrely towards the back of the pack, it looks like. And this could be an opportunity. I know we just came back from a caution. Caution breeds cautions, unfortunately, here in the racing world, but it does in fact give these drivers another opportunity to potentially come down pit road. That was one of the things we talked about earlier here under caution on these short tracks with these virtual late model pit crews. Sometimes you'll come down under caution, take 2 tires, and get back out on the track to make sure you're out in front of the pace car, and then either come down under the next caution or the next lap under that same caution and potentially get the other side of the tires put back on. Hodgson going around in that 21 VT car. He is going to get the free pass. He's going to rejoin the lead lap. That's going to put 17 drivers, it looks like, on the lead lap here at the virtual Five Flag Speedway. 24 drivers making the show here this evening through qualifying, well, not qualifying, but through heat races and that last chance qualifier. And everybody's chasing the pace car right now. Should get the 1 to go that time by. Indeed, it is. Going to line them up 2 by 2 all the way through and get ourselves a restart with about 42 or so laps to go. You can start to see as we look through the field, the right front fenders have taken a bit of a beating here at the Five Flags Speedway, the virtual Five Flags Speedway. You can see a lot of the scuff marks up there on that white paint all the way around this place. Restart once again for the 66, and he doesn't really necessarily want this thing to go caution to caution, but it does give his tires an opportunity to cool off and maybe match the temps, at least with the other drivers. So he's going to hold on to it. He's on a little bit older tires in that 66 car, but he is bad fast. We saw him very quick in the heat races, and we saw him lead a couple of laps earlier on in the feature here tonight. So he's going to try and hold on to this thing at least until the last lap.
Yeah, clean air sometimes trumps having new tires, and you can see that right now. That clean air has gotten him a huge gap over the rest of this field. It's going to be tough to hold him off when they catch back up to him, but he might get some bonus points there for leading some laps. And when you're fighting for a championship, any bonus points you can get are good points.
Kyle Goodbout back into second. Santa Slate number 92 car. Ryan Kuhn there as well. Those guys with fresh tires, even if it's only the 2 tires, is a danger to the rest of the field. But you can see that Six still holding on to it. He is looking for those lap times each and every lap, and he's looking to see how many laps we have clicked off, trying to get all the information from his crew and his crew chief to see just how much longer he's got to hold on and if he's going to be able to hold on to that lead. Because, man, Kyle Goodbout in that 92 is just so quick. He is right up now to the back bumper of our leader, and he's got those fresh right side tires. He's got less than 40 laps to get around him. Does he get to him? Does he get up around him?
Well, I think your first question is answered. He is right there on the rear bumper looking towards the inside. And he's going to be there side by side, almost down the back straightaway. Going to take another dive into it here in turn number 3. Now they're side by side. So I think your second question is going to get answered right here. Not quite across the line, but I think this next lap is going to seal the deal.
Ask and you shall receive. New leader, the 92. He's going to bring Ryan Kuhn there with him on the bottom side. Slide the 66 back to P3. He's still up on that middle to high groove, though. I'm wondering if it's maybe saving that right rear tire just a little bit. Hard to tell with these different lines here. We don't have the infrared drone cam, unfortunately, that Track TV has been busting out on a couple of those ASA Tour shows this season. It would be kind of neat to be able to see the heat in the racetrack and these tires here in the iRacing world. And one of the other features we've been trying to get iRacing to give us is a fireworks button. I think all of these racetracks should have fireworks, and I want to be able to control them.
Yeah, I want to go down the gateway on some of these iRacing races and have those big fireballs shoot off the back straightaway when the field is coming by. I just think that is the coolest thing ever.
They do it at Eldora too, and I was able to witness that this season in real life, and it was pretty cool too because they really know about the pageantry in dirt racing and at Eldora Speedway. It's kind of neat to see a paratrooper kind of come in with the United States or the American flag tied up to him, but missed the anthem by about 5 or 6 minutes as he kind of came in and saw the crowd. We were already lining things up. The anthem was done. He just kind of shrugged and said, "Sorry, I'm late." But 72, not trying to be late in that 72 car. He is down on the bottom side. He has found a hole under that 92, and he's trying to get that spot back. And even as these two drivers are side by side at the line, getting into 1 and 2, they're still pulling away from third and fourth. Ooh, little contact there. 72 giving him a little bit of a shove, letting him know he's there. That's in the Northeast. That's known as the TC bump, the Teddy Christopher bump, and there's three of them. The first one's to let you know that he was there. The second one says, "Hey, I'm quicker. I'd like to get around." And the third one is usually full send. So that was bump number one from the 72. We'll see what goes on here in the final 29 laps. Coming to the stripe for lap 172. He's going to peek that corner down on the bottom side once again. Nothing there. Going to tuck back into the tire tracks of the 92.
I don't think there is going to be a bump number 2. That 92 car is not able to seal that car against the bottom line. All it's going to take is Kuhn and the 72 machine to get underneath him as he's going to try right here at a turn number 4. He is there on the inside now in the turn number 1. They're going to be side by side coming out of turn number 2.
Good about a celebrated driver in real life, a winning driver in real life in that 92 car, knows how to get around these short tracks. And man, oh man, going to give that lap two? Nope, just kidding. The 92 car going to hold on to it, just gets able to kind of shoot off the turn 2 and the turn 4, carry that momentum in as they're both on about even tires. They're on the original left side tires from the start of the race. They both came down twice to take 2 tires. Last time being 17 laps
big
ago.
Contact there.
Yeah, they beating and banging on each other. Kuhn's going to take over the lead in the 72 car. Gotta wonder, though, did either of those drivers get any kind of damage? It doesn't look like it because they're still trying to duke it out.
And caution is out once again.
Indeed it is. There's the 3 car in the 92 of Wheeler. Those guys were up in the top 5 for a handful of laps towards the beginning of the show. Unfortunately, pointed in the wrong direction. You can see both cars have some damage on the right side. Got to wonder if that wall kind of snuck out and grabbed one of these drivers and sent them on around. The 66 may very well see him come down pit. Nope, there he goes, driving around the past the entrance there, making me a liar. But this will give the 66 an opportunity to kind of cool those tires off as he is on 56 lap old tires, and he knows how to wheel around because he didn't come down pit road until I believe it was lap 98 or so. We had that caution. The 66 was out there on those almost 100 lap old tires, and that's the beauty of a 200 lap race. When you plan out your tires and you plan out your fuel for the first half, if you can make the first 100 laps on a tank of fuel, you bet you're going to be able to make that second lap on another tank of fuel. So kind of simplifies and takes a little bit of the thinking out of the game so you can concentrate on what you're looking out the windshield and making sure you're coming home with that checkered flag.
See, that's kind of the fun of the oval side of things. You have these cautions that come out, and you don't know what the strategy of the race is going to be when you start the race. On the road course side, it's a little different. We don't have these full course cautions very often, so you kind of work backwards. And hey, my fuel will last me 45 minutes, so in this 3-hour-long race, you're going to work back, and you might take your first pit stop only 15 minutes into the race. Just top that car off with fuel, go back out on the track, and then that starts your cycle. So you run out of fuel approximately 2 minutes after the checkered flag falls. Can't do that on the oval side, though.
No, indeed you can't. 24 laps to go, or 2-4, as they say, north of the wall in Canada. The front two have pulled away by a couple of car lengths. There's the 66 in third, trying to make the magic happen, trying to hold on to those old tires. That right rear's got to be cooked on the 66 car. You can see as an absolute dogfight for fourth, fifth on back. Grout in the 49 car pointed in the wrong direction earlier on. Solid recovery for him. He is taking that car to P4, take it away, try to take away P3 now from the 66 of Rochford. They're side by side behind him as well. Tegan Atkins in the 88, rejoining the top 10, as is Luke Shannon. Tydelphia in the 13. Don't think we've mentioned him all evening long, up into the top 10.
Oh, and you got a
as well.
spinner. It's going to be the number 13 car.
Going to bring out another caution here as we try to. There he is. 13 car. Big damage on the right side, it looks like, as well. Luke Shannon not very happy with that one. Going to lose a lot of track position. May have to come down pit road and get some of that damage fixed on up to finish up the remaining 20 laps or so. And once again, gives the 66 a little bit of an opportunity to cool those tires off, get the temperatures kind of even with those front two. It's not going to be the best thing. It's not going to be as good as having new tires on that 66, but at least I think it'll give them a fighting chance to try and get up around that RKM duo.
I don't know if he's going to be able to do it without those fresh tires. These two guys up front have absolutely run away every time they've been in front. As soon as they're past that battle, as soon as they get in the lead, they're gone.
And these drivers in the Oil Boys Late Model Nationals, they've got a couple of nights a week that they practice together as a group. Some of the teams will get together and have some private testing sessions as well. So they kind of know how these cars are going to work, how they're going to feel on these long green flag runs. The guys that work for the setup teams, though, the RKM setup shops of the world, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of laps, because if you're going to make some of the best setups in the iRacing world, you got to know what that thing is going to be able to do after 10, 20, 50, 100 laps, whether it gets loose or tight or what upsets the car, because you got to be able to portray that information to your customers, to your clients, to your teammates, or whomever may be running that setup. You'd be able to kind of hand them the setup or send it over to them and say, hey, listen, this thing's going to get loose after 50 laps. You got to make sure you take right tires, and here's how to adjust it and things like that. There's a lot of things that get into these virtual iRacing setups, making sure they drive right. Sometimes they're loose, sometimes they're tight. Always quick, though, especially here at VidaneTV. Potentially could be the final restart as the pace car is down on pit road. Green flag flies, less than 20 to go here at Virtual 5 Flag Speedway.
Oh, big wiggle there for the 92, and that's going to allow Kuhn into the lead.
Indeed, it is. The 66 trying to take that third position back away from Jake Grout. Grout is on fire in that 49 car. Found himself pointed in the wrong direction, up into the outside wall earlier on, and this one came down pit road, got the thing fixed, threw some tires on, and drove through the field, holding on to P4, trying to take away P3. But the 66 holding on for the time being. Nope, just kidding. As I look back over the monitor, the 49 is around into that third spot. So 66 is going to drop back into the fourth position. And it looks like Tegan Atkins is hungry as well, all over the back bumper of the double six. Caution. McVetti pointed in the wrong direction, as is the number 17 car of Sawtile. They're going to rejoin the tail end of the field. Luckily able to grab a gear, get rolling once again, but that's going to slow things down and give these guys, again, an opportunity to maybe come down pit road. But I think getting this late into the show, I don't know if you want to sacrifice a top 5 position. Maybe if you're in the bottom half of the top 10, you come down, take 2 tires. Maybe you put a little fuel into the back of it to kind of tighten the car up just a little bit, because the further and further we get on into a run, the more fuel you burn off, and that's going to affect the weight of the back of the car. So you might see some guys try and come down pit road and try a thing or two, but I got a feeling the leaders, they are going to run what they brung. They're going to stay out and try and duke this thing out. Once we get the restart, looks like it'll be about 15 laps or so. Nope, just kidding. Lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go green. Kuhn electing to take the bottom side of the racetrack in the number 72. Pace car down on pit road. Going to grab some DoorDash. Vidane.tv/DoorDash. Be sure to grab yourself a little snacky poo for after the race here. And great restart once again for the 72. Good bout in the 92. He is tucked into the tire tracks on that high side. That 49 car trying to take away that second position. He's got a little bit of a help there. A little bit of a helping nudge from the 88 at Tegan Atkins.
little bit of connection issues there for your leader. If he drops out of this race, that's going to put this battle to these two fighting for the second spot right now in the Christmas themed cars. They're 3 wide, big slide there for the number 92.
Almost had it saved, got a little bit of an extra.
Oh, and that's going to take him out.
Oof. That is tough.
Didn't have a lot of damage on that car right up until he got pounded in the nose.
Looked like a little bit of a puff of black smoke out of that thing. It does look like it stopped smoking, so that is good news, but big time damage on that 92 car. You can see he's slowing it down. He's trying to feel the thing out on the front straightaway to see what's actually broken on it. He's going to park it on the start-finish line behind Ryan Kuhn. And I am confused.
I'm not quite sure what they're doing. It looks like he pulled it off the racetrack there.
It actually looks like everybody has pulled off of the racetrack, so we will figure that out.
I did see the final lap beacon come up on screen, so I am almost wondering if we timed out of this event.
May very well have been.
Yep.
As we complete.
Barney has the checkered flag in his hand. It does look like we timed out. I believe that would make Ryan Kuhn your winner.
Indeed, it does. Kyle Goodbout going to finish in second. Jake Grout going to come home with that third position. We'll see if we can get these drivers lined up here, and they do appear to be at the track, so we will slide it over to the second place finisher. Just kidding. We're going to slide it over to the winner. Busier there in victory lane with the boss man from RKM Setup Shop, Mr. Ryan Kuhn.
Yes, sir.
Solid race here tonight in that 72 car. It really showing the fans out there here on VidaneTV that we told them you've probably got tens of hundreds of thousands of laps around the iRacing service here, putting together and building these setups, knowing how they do on the long green flag runs and the short runs and things like that. With that line of work, that's got to help you out with kind of your styles and your races, right?
Yeah, 100%. These late model stocks are so tricky to figure out. And honestly, I feel like that's where a little bit of the experience comes in, when to save tire, when to manage it, when to go. It's definitely, like I tell everybody, it's the easiest but the hardest car to drive at the same time. It's easy because it drives so good, but at the same time, it's difficult because it's just a lot of strategy involved with this car and how you work around it. But all in all, it was a kind of a chaotic race, a lot of yellows, but I still had a great time. So I had a lot of fun.
That's what it's all about here in the Oil Boys Late Model National Series here. And we know you got a couple of teammates out there in the field with the RKM Setup Shop group. How do we get some of those setups for some of the fans and maybe some of these production guys that I work with here? How do we get quick with an RKM Setup Shop?
Yeah, well, the good thing is this league is a fixed setup league, custom built by myself. But if you want to do like the official series stuff or some hosted stuff or stuff like that, we do rkmsetupshop.com. We sell official sets for every week. And we've pretty much been dominant in every series. But we go up against the best. There's a lot of these. Ty Majeski is one of them. We used to go up against him, and a lot of the other setup shops with just a lot of top pro drivers and stuff like that. But we're out there competing for wins every week. Basically winning almost everything on the official side of things. So proud of this group, proud of everybody who's helped make RKM. Me and Goodbot had a great race for the lead there. We touched a little bit and he got the wall just a little bit. I think he came down, I came up, just kind of a racing deal. So, but it was another great RKM 1, 2, 3. So proud of these guys. Taught them well.
1,000%. Boss man coming home with the checkered flag. We'll ask you one more question because it came up earlier on in the show. Who's got the higher I rating, you or Ty Majeski?
I think Majeski's got it. Honestly, I haven't run much official series stuff lately. But honestly, I think he got beat. I think Justin Brooks is now number 1. I think Ty's number 2, and I think I'm number 6 or something like that now. But a lot of guys got their I ratings up. I just haven't really raced as much lately. But a lot of these guys just race all day, every day, and it's basically their life. So Hard to do that when you're racing in real life and got a full-time job, but I do what I can, and proud of this group.
100%. Justin Brooks, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. One of the Vidane Racing OGs from back in the day. We talked about that earlier on here tonight. But the 72 coming home with the checkered flag. Ryan, you made it look easy. Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Going to slide down pit road just a little bit further. Bizzle, you have caught up with our third place driver, and that's going to be Mr. Grout.
Yeah, Jake Grout ran a great race here tonight. I've made it through some of the carnage there on that last wreck. I'm seeing the 92 car finishing in second, so I think the checkered flag came out before that big wreck. But what happened there towards the end? I see we only have 184 laps here on the board, so definitely a shortened race. So was that something you guys were planning on here tonight? Did you know it was a possibility, or just kind of snuck up on you?
No, we actually timed out. Had some too many cautions early in the race and set us back. So that was unfortunate. Wish we could have finished it all out, but yeah, no, it ended up getting shortened to, I think we ended up with 182 or something like that. So
Yeah, it's always a shame when the race gets shortened like that, but a lot of cautions here tonight, like you said. Were you involved in many of the incidents? Did you make it through all of them cleanly? Did it feel like Days of Thunder through some of these incidents trying to get through them?
I think we got caught up in one or two of them, but we were able to avoid the rest of them luckily, and just hold on because I don't feel the greatest right now, and I didn't feel like really having to drive through any incidents. So
Well, you got lucky, drove through a bunch of them, kept the nose clean, and came home here in third place tonight. Anyone you want to at home you want to thank? Sponsors plug, thanks you want to get in.
yeah, first off, I gotta thank Ryan Kuhn. Builds us great setups for this every week and for officials. We're the ones to beat right now, and it feels good being like that. And I gotta thank JNS Sales and Service, White Heating, Curly Transport, AW Clark Builders, KCB Addy, Case and Hodgson, the Oil Boys, everybody that helps out with the league. You guys for broadcasting. It's been fun.
Hell yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to have you out here, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week, because it's always fun watching these Oil Boy shows.
Thank you.
Paul, I'm going to throw it back to you. I don't believe we have our second place finisher here in the booth tonight. I think you checked out a little early, unless you got a secret spot you're going to pull him out of.
No, it looks like Gary Wheeler may have, is either Gary Wheeler, one of the 92 cars in any sense. Timing and scoring seems to have confused that again this week. We'll have to take a look at that. But nope, on to the next race for some of these drivers. A lot of these guys run multiple nights, multiple races a night. I know I used to, but I don't have the attention span for it. But we do have a lot of great stuff action coming up here on VidaneTV. Doubleheader action tomorrow night. A double-double, as it were, as the Canadians come out to play the Tim's Corner Motorsports Smash Potatoes race. 60 minutes on the clock, an enduro race. Whoever completes the most laps win. And got the okay and the thumbs up from the boss man Tim Terry over there. Gonna have a little roundtable open mic night, and that's so. Biz, have fun. You're going to be at the helm of that, producing that show, and as well as the NEP Super Truck race tomorrow night. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'll try and get on the Wi-Fi, depending on how many American Airline points I have, to see if I can watch from 30,000 feet in the air, or however high airplanes are. But NEP returns Thursday night. I'll be back Thursday night as well with that series, and we will make a little magic happen, as we like to do here on VidaneTV. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in tonight from the virtual Five Flag Speedway. We'll catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we will be doing it live.